Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Cyberpunk, I Got a Man of Steel. Chapter 51. After a few minutes, Lucy, who was flushed all over, let go of Yifei, and Yifei's face was similar. To be honest, although I have lived for more than 20 years, Yifei is still just a one-handed dog. Before time travel, he was just the kind of person who likes to watch videos on the internet. Unlike those guys who are veterans in time travel and have met many women, this is the first time he has had such intimate contact with a girl. Rao has a superhuman brain and can't handle this unprecedented situation. In other words, Yifei feels like his CPU is going to burn. It's just that even so, Yifei was responding to Lucy instinctively just now, and his hands must have been a little rough. How do you say that? Yifei looked at the flushed Lucy in his arms with a half-smile and said. Snapped. Lucy's response was a weak punch. The current Lucy is basically a little girl, which is completely different from the iceberg beauty in the bar. If you make fun of me again, I will hack your system. Lucy didn't know what threat to use for a while, so she simply said the least threatening thing to threaten Yifei. Yifei was a little dumbfounded, hacking into the system. To be honest, if Yifei didn't control himself to create an anti-hacking system when he had nothing to do before, Lucy probably would burn his brain to a pulp just after encountering Yifei's system. All right, I won't make fun of you. Can you tell me what you and V have been talking about these days? Yifei said, coaxing a child, and then asked a question that even he was a little confused about. In the past few days, V and Lucy went shopping whenever they had time, and often hid on the second floor to whisper when they got home. Out of politeness, Yifei didn't eavesdrop. No matter what, this is reality. It's not that Game 5 and Lucy both need privacy. Besides, wouldn't it be boring if you knew everything? A good relationship is to maintain a certain distance and mystery. In his previous life, he saw that most of the couples who had been in love for a long time broke up because they didn't have any secrets. If they were too familiar, they would lose the passion for dating. Sorry, I can't say it right now. Lucy's face was a little tangled, but she shook her head. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't say it, let's go home now. Seeing that Lucy didn't want to say Yifei and didn't continue to ask, she stood up and took Lucy's hand and walked towards the apartment. Lucy didn't look like she just came to the park, she just held hands with Yifei. Instead, he held Yifei's arm and leaned on Yifei's shoulder. It was early in the morning when Yifei returned home, and the first thing they saw when they entered the door was V sitting on the sofa watching TV. You haven't slept yet, V? Yifei asked. Well, I can't sleep and watch TV, where did you two go at night? V replied with blank eyes, with a forced smile on his face. Looking at V, who had the same expression as the sickly eyes with no light in his eyes when he was watching anime, Yifei couldn't help swallowing. Then he took out the supper bought not far from the apartment and put it on the table in the living room and said with a very calm face, V, Lucy and I just went out for a night run, and we had a little supper by the way, and I brought you some a little. Really, just eat after supper. Is it difficult to wait for me to take a bath? V saw Yifei's supper on the table, and Lucy standing behind Yifei with a normal face, and he didn't suspect anything and started eating supper. Hey, Mr. Yi, I'm Dexter Sean, I have a big deal and I want to talk to you, return my call when you're free. Yifei just woke up and saw a message. Hehe, is it still here? That should come. Yifei looked at the message with a smile. This fat black man dared to kill his V in the game. Although it is said that there is a relic chip to revive V, it can't erase what Dexter Sean gave V. Headshot to the fact. This time it was him who threw this guy into the dump. Dexter Sean is one of the best brokers in town, and he knows everything that goes on in Night City like the back of his hand. His intuition was as sharp as that of a professional killer. There were rumors in Night City before that if anyone could take over the business from Dex, his mercenary career would surely flourish in the future. Unfortunately, this order will completely drive Dexter into the abyss of eternal doom. Ding. Yifei glanced at Jack's phone and connected directly. Yifei, I gave your contact information to a guy named Dexter Sean, who used to be the go-between for Night City to be on par with Rog, and now he says he has a big deal for us to talk about. Although Jack was still a little excited in his words, he was not as happy as in the game. After all, Their team can be regarded as a respectable person in Night City now, and they have received many orders from top intermediaries. Although Dexter Sean used to be an intermediary who could sit on an equal footing with Queen Rog, but he left Night City for a year before returning, and now he is only an intermediary at the same level as priests and Wakako. Well, I have received his message, and I will contact him later. Yi Fei said. Okay, talk to him about everything. If even he thinks it's a big deal, we should make a lot of money this time. Jack said. After hanging up the phone, Yi Fei unhurriedly went to the kitchen to make breakfast. Lucy and Vi also got up during this time. After eating and drinking enough, Yi Fei said to the two women, Vi, Lucy, I'm going to make a list later. If you have something to do, you can just talk about it. Lucy and I are waiting for your news at home. Lucy nodded after Vi finished speaking. Yi Fei walked out of the apartment and called Dexter. Yo, Mr. Yi Fei, please allow me to introduce myself, my name is Dexter Sean. A black man with dreadlocks and a big beard appeared on the contact interface. Well, I know you, the middleman who can be equal to Rog in Night City. Yi Fei said in a cold tone. Hee, that's all in the past tense. I'm just a middleman who has just started. How about it? Do you want to accept my commission? Mr. Yi. Although Dexter didn't know why Yi Fei's tone was so cold, but he didn't suggest it. Business is the most important mercenary, not your family's attitude. He doesn't care. Since I have already called you, do you think I can answer it? Yi Fei asked back. Ha ha ha, it's refreshing, Mr. Yi, I'll give you an address, come here and find me. After finishing speaking, Dexter sent Yi Fei a location. It's less than a minute. Yi Fei directly used the super speed, and ran all the way from the valley area to the Gramsci Burger restaurant in the location. Maybe Yi Fei's speed was too fast, Yi Fei didn't see Dexter's luxury car. After waiting for a few minutes, Yi Fei saw Dexter's luxury car driving into this somewhat messy alley, and got out of the car with a burly man who looked capable of fighting. Yi Fei walked over, and the bodyguard was obviously stunned for a while. He naturally recognized Yi Fei. Just now his boss told Yi Fei that it might take about half an hour to get here, so he got out of the car and waited. It turned out that Yi Fei was faster than them. It's just that the bodyguard didn't say much, since Yi Fei came, just opened the door for him to talk to his boss. The bodyguard opened the door. Inside, Dexter was closing his eyes and resting, only to hear the sound of the car door opening. Didn't I tell you to wait for Yi Fei to come and open the door? Dexter's voice was a little harsh, and he thought the bodyguard had something to say to him. Boss, Mr. Yi has arrived. The bodyguard's voice stunned Dexter directly. He has investigated. Yi Fei lives in the Haywood Valley area apartment, and the current time is not the time for Yi Fei to travel normally. So even if he gave Yi Fei the address, he still felt that Yi Fei would arrive within half an hour, so he decided to close his eyes and rest for a while. Immediately Dexter adjusted his state, although he didn't know why Yi Fei arrived so soon. Because it doesn't matter, come early and talk about it early. Hello, you are the famous Yi Fei, Mr. Yi. After Yi Fei got into the car and finished, Dexter greeted Yi Fei. Well, Dexter Sean, I recognize you, one of the top middlemen in Night City, and only Rog, Queen of the Afterlife, can be your equal. Yi Fei has a smile on his face. Isn't it just business bragging? He doesn't know these people yet. No, I've just returned to Night City, and I'm just a small middleman just getting started. Dexter Sean felt a little flustered when he heard Yi Fei's flattery, but he was hypocritically humble. He wouldn't say he quit Night City for a year without fighting Rog. Let's drive, Dexter said to the driver. Then he glanced at Yi Fei in front of him with great interest. Just like the rumors, Yi Fei didn't have that kind of transformation marks on his body, and unlike those mercenaries he had worked with before, he didn't have that kind of bloodthirsty on his body temperament. On the contrary, he looked like an ordinary good student, but he had heard of it. Yesterday, Yi Fei made a big fuss in a stronghold of the Tiger Claw gang, and directly killed the people inside, leaving only a small leader. He would not naively think that such a person is a good stubble. Hearing what his boss said, the driver also slowly started the car. Before I talk to Mr. Yi about my business, I want to ask you a question, said Dexter, smoking his cigar. Appreciate further details. Of course Yi Fei knew what Dexter was going to say. My question is very simple. Do you want to be an unknown person, live in peace and stability for the rest of your life, and when you get old, lie on a hospital bed with a catheter inserted, or do you want to become a legend and go down in history, even if you don't live 30 years old? Dexter said. Both of your options are for me. Yi Fei shook his head. Huh, this is very novel. Mr. Yi, can you tell me which choice is suitable for you? Dexter also raised his eyebrows curiously, looking at Yi Fei to hear what he had to say differently. The choice that suits me is to become a legend in this world, and to live peacefully until the end of my life. Of course, it is a healthy one. Yi Fei's answer immediately made Dexter laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, Mr. Yi is indeed different from those ignorant guys. When I ask other mercenaries, they don't think about other questions at all. Really, maybe it's because their abilities can only go there. Yi Fei shrugged. Most of the mercenaries in Night City were guys who hadn't even read a lot of books, so they didn't have any cultural background. He was also a student of a key university in his previous life, so it's normal to be able to speak noble words. It's just that, Mr. Dexter, I really want to ask you with the question you just asked. Would you choose to be famous in history or remain unknown? Yi Fei knew that this Dexter was afraid of death, and the first thing he did when he got into trouble with Wangban was to kill him and run away. It's just that he wanted to see what answer this guy could give. Ha ha ha, Mr. Yi, you are the first person to ask me back with my question. Dexter burst out laughing when he heard Yi Fei ask this question. He hasn't met such an interesting person for a long time. Of course I want to engrave my name, Dexter Sean, on every corner of Night City. Dexter Sean said confidently. Hee hee, you better have that thought. Yi Fei sneered in his heart. This fat man wanted to be famous in history without paying any price. It was wishful thinking. So that's it, then I have another question to ask you. Yi Fei nodded and said. Mr. Yi, if you have something to say, I think we hit it off very well. Why are you looking for mercenaries like us who have just arrived in Night City? I think there should be other mercenaries with greater reputation and experience. Hearing Yi Fei's question, Dexter's expression lightened a little, and then he began to speak. Mr. Yi Fei, you also know that as middlemen, we generally earn money from both sides. We will turn the needs of those in need into commissions, and then pass these commissions to you mercenaries. After completing the commission, those in need people will pay us, and we will take part of it as a commission, and the rest will be given to you mercenaries. Although there are veteran mercenary forces in Night City, and there are quite a few famous ones, none of them meet the conditions of my entrustment. Dexter shook his head when he said this, then pointed to Yi Fei and said, and you, Yi Fei, why did Mr. Yi meet the conditions for my entrustment this time? I've seen Cheomeng about you. From it, I can feel Mr. Yi's potential and strength, as well as your leadership ability. I also know Jack, but he's good at using knives and guns, but his brain is not very good. As his team leader, whether you rescued people from the Whirlpool gang or the company dog you caught last time, the following the tail is wiped clean, which is what I need. For an excellent, powerful and intelligent mercenary like you, I don't think any of the middlemen in Night City would not want to see you. As the top intermediary in Night City, Dexter is very smart. Every time he entrusts him with the selection of mercenaries, he will choose carefully and strive to complete the task perfectly. And the ability he is most proud of is the ability to deal with all kinds of people, whether it is up to the company's executives or down to the most trashy mercenaries, he will not easily offend anyone. After all, in Night City, you never know whether the person you offended will become a legend in Night City tomorrow. From what Dexter said, it seemed that he had completely confessed to Yi Fei, but in fact, he didn't reveal any information. If Yi Fei didn't know this guy well, maybe he would really give him a good one. Bewildered by words and flattery. Is that so? It seems that Mr. Dexter knows my situation very well. Yi Fei said with a smile. No, this is just a little thought of my humble one, so Mr. Yi, what's your answer? Dexter shook his head modestly and then asked. It is of course my wish to cooperate with a smart person like Mr. Dexter. I have accepted this task. Hearing Yi Fei's answer, Dexter immediately stretched out a hand and said, then wish us a happy cooperation. Pleasant cooperation. Although he didn't want to, Yi Fei reluctantly shook hands with the fat black man. Since Mr. Yi has accepted my task, I'll talk to you about the business first. Now that he has formed a cooperation with Yifei, Dexter didn't hide anything, and immediately took out a chip and handed it to Yifei. This is Arbon's latest technology, a prototype technology biochip. Your task this time is to get him out, said Dexter, smoking a cigar. Yifei already knew what this guy wanted to do, but he still exclaimed in surprise, Dexter, are you thinking about something that is out of reach? That's right, it is precisely because I want to use the goods of Wangban Company that I can find such an excellent mercenary as Mr. Yi. But I think this matter should not be too difficult for Mr. Yi. Mr. Dexter, you have to know that this wasteboard company is the land emperor of Night City. If you offend them. Yifei stopped talking halfway through. Ha 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 ha, Mr. Yifei, you still have to worry too much. Since I dare to touch the things of Wangban Company, then I must be sure to wipe my ass clean. Besides, there is an old saying in Wagwo that you can't enter the tiger's den. Cubs, as long as Mr. Yi's work is clean enough, there won't be any problems. Dexter said confidently. Maybe, then tell me about your plan. Yifei nodded. Before the official start, I still have a small matter that Mr. Yi needs to deal with. Dexter said. What do you think? You must be familiar with the Uzumaki gang, Mr. Yi. 2 weeks ago, the Uzumaki gang robbed a batch of goods shipped out of the convoy by the military technology company. It was the Uzumaki gang's people who did it. Of course, the group of SBs in the company didn't know about it. In this batch, there is a key item for our mission, a small combat robot called Xiaopingtu, a prototype machine, the latest high-end military technology. Originally, I bought a small flathead from the Whirlpool gang, but because of you, Mr. Yi, something went wrong. When Dexter said this, the expression on his face became a little subtle. My question, Mr. Dexter can eat indiscriminately, but he can't talk indiscriminately. Yifei pretended to be surprised and said, of course, Mr. Yi, I'm not blaming you, it's just that the boss of the Maelstrom gang I traded with was a guy named Bu Laika. I spent money to buy a small flathead from him before. I had already paid for it, so I just had to get the goods. Coincidentally, Bryke, the unlucky guy, turned against you, Mr. Yi, and died. Now the boss of the Whirlpool gang has changed. It's a guy named Luo Yixi, who is said to be Breike's good brother, good buddy. Now he doesn't want to admit to us. Of course, there is also a woman named Meredith Stout, who is in charge of the company's fleet transportation. Right now, they are searching the entire city for the person who attacked their convoy. I think Mr. Yi can take advantage of this. After finishing speaking, Dexter smoked a cigar and waited for Yifei's reply. Okay, I'll settle this matter, and tell me the rest if you have something to do. Yifei said it was perfectly fine. Well, there is another key person in this operation, Miss Evelyn Parker. I will arrange for you to meet Miss Parker after Mr. Yi settles the matter of Xiaopingtu. Okay, that's it, let me get off here first. After speaking, the driver stopped at the same spot, and Yifei opened the door and walked out. The vehicle restarted, and after driving far away, the driver in the car said with some displeasure, Boss, the kid you were looking for is too crazy, he dares to ask you a question, will there be any problems if he is asked to do this? Quote, hee, don't worry, he is a smart guy, maybe we will have a chance to cooperate with him in the future. Of course, if he does things too recklessly, even the Whirlpool gang can make him have a good drink. Dexter looked confident. Yifei first called Jack after getting off the car. How do you say, Yifei, have you talked with Dexter Sean? Jack asked nervously when he received a call from Yifei. Everything is settled. Didn't you ask Lao Wei to help you find a pair of gorilla arms a few days ago? Lao Wei just sent me a message saying that he found it, let me tell you. What? That's great. I can't wait for a gorilla arm. Jack is a person who likes boxing, and he also met Victor in the boxing ring. With his physical strength, he barely beat the experienced Lao Wei. After earning enough money from entrusting a few days ago, Jack has already asked Lao Wei to find a pair of better quality gorilla arms. Well, let's meet at Lao Wei's clinic later. After Yifei finished speaking, he hung up the phone, and then called Lucy and V, telling them to go to Lao Wei's clinic. When calling David, something was wrong. Hello, Brother Yi, I have something to do here and it's not convenient to answer the phone. I'll call you back later, okay. David's voice was very small, as if he was whispering to him. David, I'm asking you something. I fell into a coma for a day, why did you become a mercenary? Gloria's voice came from David, and David hung up the phone. Yifei didn't have any special thoughts, but just felt like laughing. Come on, let's go find David later. Lao Wei's prosthetic body clinic. Yifei just came to the prosthetic body clinic, and saw Misty, who was a little out of her mind. Misty did a fortune-telling calculation with tarot cards this morning, and saw some unknown endings with bad imagery. Hey, Misty, I'm here to see Lao Wei, so I won't chat with you. Yifei greeted Misty and prepared to go inside. Yifei, do you have a very dangerous commission recently? Seeing that Yifei was about to enter the clinic, Misty hurriedly stopped Yifei. Yifei looked at Misty with a strange look in his eyes. How can this tarot card be so effective after it is out of the game? Well, there are some risks in this entrustment, but that's nothing to be afraid of. Yifei replied a little casually. After all, this mission does not have any risks for him, and if there are risks, it is only the risks that Jack and V will have. Misty also breathed a sigh of relief when she heard Yifei's words. After all, Misty had heard about Yifei's ability from Jack more than once. If even Yifei said that the risk of entrusting this time is not very high, then there shouldn't be any major problems. Yifei, actually, I've always disliked Jack's job as a mercenary. This kind of business involves sticking his head to his waistband and licking blood every day. It's really too dangerous. But he didn't listen to my advice at all, and kept saying that if he didn't become a mercenary, he couldn't become a legend in Night City, and he couldn't give me a better life and a more luxurious wedding. I know what Jack wants to give me. It's all the best, but I don't want him to have an accident because of it. Misty's face was full of concern. Misty, don't worry, I will take good care of him, Jack will be fine. Yifei said it seriously, but Yifei felt something strange. Didn't Misty only say these words in the game when she was on the stage at the end? Why is Misty talking these words to Yifei now? I'm relieved to hear you say that. Victor is installing the prosthetic body on Jack, and it should be almost ready now. Misty glanced at the time and said. Yifei didn't say much, walked to the door of Victor's clinic, and pulled open the iron door. You're here, Yifei, how about this pair of babies that Victor made for me? These are military-grade gorilla arms, so awesome. Jack was fixed on the operating chair, pouted and pointed at the gorilla arm lying aside. Jack, if you want to press this thing properly, you'd better not move or talk. Yifei, you can sit anywhere. Victor looked at Jack, who was still moving around on the operating chair, and said something with a frown. Looking at Jack's arm disassembled by Victor, Yifei was also a little curious. The various precision parts and bones exposed inside seemed to be quite new. In fact, it was installed by Jack a few years ago. He basically lives on his own and doesn't know how to save money. Now, after doing a few commissions with Yifei, I have money to exchange for the gorilla arm that I have been thinking about. In fact, Victor has a wide network of contacts, otherwise, an ordinary prosthetic doctor would just give him an ordinary gorilla arm. I'm just curious about how you installed these prosthetic bodies, so come and have a look. Yifei answered Victor. Because the gorilla arm prosthesis had to replace the entire arm, it took a little longer for Victor to install it this time. Jack, if you feel pain during the installation process, please remember to tell me, otherwise there may be problems when you go back and install it. Victor looked at the screen of the instrument placed aside and said. Old Wei, don't you know your craft? It's just a little numb, it doesn't hurt at all. Jack laughed. This is to praise Victor's technology. It is important to know that major prosthetic body replacements are basically linked to the nervous system, and a careless one can easily fail or cause great pain. Victor's technology may not be as good as the prosthetic doctor who has many sophisticated instruments in the Araba group, but if it is a prosthetic doctor who has the same conditions as Victor, I am afraid that there is no one who is better than him. An hour passed. Victor stood up profusely in sweat, and then took a sip of the beer that was put aside. Okay, Jack, you can move your hand now. Victor said to Jack, who was lying on the operating chair. Yeah, I can feel my arm is full of power now, it feels like I can directly blow up a car. Jack stood up to feel some of his new arms and waved them violently. Ouch, Jack, if you want to try, go out and try. Don't stay with me, I can't handle your punches now. When Victor saw Jack's actions, he was immediately dismissed. As a senior prosthetic doctor, he knew how powerful Jack's fist was now. If Jack punched his wall with all his strength, he would probably be able to make a fist mark. Hey, thank you, old way. Jack chuckled, clearly pleased with his new arm. It's nothing, you pay anyway. By the way, I gave you this chip, which allows you to better control the strength of the gorilla's arm. Victor took out a chip and handed it to Jack. Thank you, old way, you are so considerate. Jack smiled and inserted the chip into his chip slot. I don't want Misty's waist to be strangled by you inadvertently when you are making out with Misty. I can't find an assistant as good as Misty. Victor gave Jack a blank look. He has heard a lot about the person who just installed the gorilla arm and accidentally killed his family. Yifei, have you met Dexter? Well, Dexter told me something about the situation, and this time we may be going to the old place again. Hearing Yifei's answer, Jack was a little confused. The old place. Where? The Maelstrom gang, but we have to go to David first before that. Take Lucy, V and Jack who just installed the gorilla arm to the hospital where Gloria lives. Mom, I have been expelled from Wangban Academy. And Brother Yi is also very kind to me. The first order I did with Brother Yi yesterday turned over 30,000 euros. No matter what you say, I just received a call from the head of Arabata Academy. He said that as long as you are willing to apologize to Katsuo Ida, you can go back to school. And the college also attaches great importance to you, a top student, and told me to exempt your tuition. Gloria looked at her son in front of her and suddenly felt a headache. She had only been in a coma for a day, and David installed Sean Weinstein on himself, and even became a mercenary and even made a commission. It's impossible for me to apologize to that guy. Who knows what Arabata Academy is planning? David said with a displeased face. In his opinion, there is no such good thing as a pie in the sky at Arbin College. Scholarship, that's pocket money for those rich boys. David, Ms. Gloria. Yifei walked straight into the ward and saw Gloria sitting on the bed. When he rescued people that day, Gloria was disheartened, and she looked no different from ordinary people. But looking at it today, Gloria has obviously been cleaned up by a nurse, and she looks quite beautiful now. Of course, it's not that Yifei wants to be a sow thief, he still prefers girls. Brother Yi, why are you here? When David saw Yifei appearing in the ward, he was happy at first, and then gave Gloria a guilty look. Nothing, just take a look. Yifei said. Are you Yifei? Thank you very much for saving your life. When Gloria heard David calling Yifei Yizhe, she remembered what David told him about their savior was Yifei. It's nothing, David has already paid off the money I paid for you. Yifei shook his head and said. Hearing Yifei's words, Gloria's body trembled unavoidably. Mr. Yi, I would like to talk to you about David's being a mercenary. Gloria really didn't want David to be a mercenary. She had worked as a mercenary with Man before. Knowing how dangerous this road is, she decided to quit after she became pregnant with David. Fortunately, Man can be regarded as a more conscientious boss, knowing that she wanted to quit and gave her a sum of money. If you change to those unconscionable mercenary captains, you will never even think about quitting. Ms. Gloria, I think you should consider this matter. Arbin Academy is not a kind school. David just beat the son of a school manager yesterday. Today Arbin Academy let him go back to Arbin Academy. There is no such good thing in the world. David used Sean Weinstein yesterday at Arbin Academy. Yifei's words immediately made Gloria's face turn pale. David, you also used Sean Weston. Do you know how dangerous this thing is? Gloria valued David more than her own life. She thought David was just a mercenary, and it was dangerous to earn 30,000 euros. Ms. Gloria, please calm down first, and listen to me first. Yifei's words made Gloria give up and continue to torture David. David's tolerance for prosthetics is stronger than that of ordinary people. This is a fact, especially since he has not received any training. I heard that the Araba group seems to have developed a new armor, codenamed King Kong, and they are in urgent need of someone with a high tolerance for prosthetic bodies to experiment. Yifei said that even though Gloria was being dull, she understood that Arbin Academy was willing to let David go back to school, and even exempted all system maintenance fees and all tuition fees. If David returns to Arbin Academy to study now, he will probably be arrested and used as an experimental subject. The advent of a new prosthesis requires a large number of human experiments to stabilize the data. Thinking of this, Gloria's whole body had lost color and collapsed on the bed. As for Yifei deceiving herself, she never thought about it. Yifei's willingness to save people in Night City and advance money in advance shows that the other party is of high moral character. There is no need to lie to yourself. David is just a fledgling kid, there is no value for Yifei to lie. What's more, Yifei didn't lie at all. Tanaka really wanted to trick David into going back to the academy and arrest him for experimentation. Anyway, there are countless missing people in Night City every day. There are not many Davids, and there are not many missing ones. Oh, well, Mr. Yi, I want to ask you a question. It took Gloria a while to recover, and then she looked at Yifei with a pleading expression on her face and said, "Tell me, let me see if I can answer you. Can you do your best to keep David safe?" Gloria's face was full of confusion. To be honest, she really didn't want David to become a mercenary, but the current situation was that Arbin had already set his sights on David, if he didn't have a backer to rely on. I am afraid that when those people get impatient, they will directly arrest David. Don't worry, as long as they are our people, I will guarantee their safety. Yifei nodded and said, I'm relieved like this. David, if you have something to do, go and do it. I want to be alone now. Gloria was relieved to hear Yifei's answer. Man also came to see her just now. He also talked about David and Yifei being mercenaries, which made Gloria know that David had been expelled from the academy and became a mercenary. That's what's happening now, outside the hospital gate. Brother Yi, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. David came out of the hospital like a frosted eggplant. Stinky boy, what are you talking about? You are a member of our team. Yifei patted David on the shoulder. Let's go, our target today is the Whole Foods factory of the Maelstrom gang. Whole Foods, didn't we go there last time? Does this have something to do with Dexter's commission? Jack's face was a little strange. They only took over the Whole Foods factory of the Maelstrom gang a week ago, and what are they going to do now? Dexter said that our commission needs a very important robot, and he is in the Maelstrom. Yifei didn't explain too much, and Jack and the others didn't ask too much. Outside Whole Foods processing plant. The task is very simple. Take out the Maelstrom gang in the Whole Foods factory. Of course, the first task is to find Xiaopingtu. Yifei gave an order, but didn't make too many arrangements. Don't worry, Yifei, I'm going to try my new gorilla arm. Jack smiled and clenched his fists. Well, since Yifei and the others slaughtered the Whole Foods factory last time, the new boss Luo Yixi has strengthened the defense here. Not only did the number of guards on the periphery double, but even the entrance to their basement had several more heavy machine guns. It can be seen how terrible Yifei's last action was for the Maelstrom gang. This time Yifei and the others can only choose to attack frontally. Lucy, you are responsible for hacking all the traps and monitoring equipment in the Whole Foods factory. I, V, and Jack hacked in from the front. As for you, David, I will wrong you to pick up the weapons of those Maelstrom gang members. Quote. Yifei's task is assigned. Although the task given to David seems a bit insignificant, he has no objection. He only has a Sean Whiston, which does not improve his combat effectiveness much. Would consider David to fight with them. Yifei, the younger brother of the Maelstrom gang outside the Whole Foods factory, didn't want to waste much time, after all, they were all within sight. He simply hacked into the system of a little boy from the Whirlpool gang, and started to infect him with a little bit of virus. Ah, on fire. I'm on fire. What's going on? I'm on fire too. For a while, the Vortex gang members who were patrolling outside were ignited with flames, and then the prosthetic bodies in their bodies began to explode. In less than half a minute, the people outside were dead. Yi, brother Yi, could it be that Lucy did this? This is the first time David has seen this kind of scene. He has heard that hackers can remotely hack into people's systems and burn their prosthetic bodies. Lucy. No, Lucy was in charge of trapping and monitoring Whole Foods factories, and I burned these people. Yifei said with a normal expression. Hey, David, you just formed a team with us. In the future, you will find that Yifei knows a lot, and now he is just the tip of your iceberg. Jack laughed. Whole Foods factory. Luo Yixi is enjoying the doll service from Genting in his exclusive room. Ah, Luo Yixi felt that he had reached the pinnacle of his life. A week ago, his good brother Brick was killed by some mercenaries, and he took over the Maelstrom gang because of his tough methods. Now that he has obtained all the resources and most of the property of the Vortex gang, it can be regarded as a prestigious mission in Night City. Boss, it's not good. Those people are calling again. A person hurriedly broke into Luo Yixi's lounge. What? The group of mercenaries from last week. When Luo Yixi heard the little brother's words, he pushed the puppet away and stood up. He couldn't forget the miserable situation of those little brothers and Brick when he came to the Whole Foods factory. The only picture we captured on surveillance, I have also confirmed that they are indeed that group of mercenaries. The younger brother's words pushed Luo Yixi from the peak of his life just now to the bottom. These guys are pancakes. Do you have to fight our whirlpool? Luo Yixi felt that he was a dog, but now he was unwilling to give up everything he had gained in the past few days. As the saying goes, it is easy to go from frugal to extravagant, but difficult to go from extravagant to frugal. Luo Yixi just enjoyed enough, and now it is impossible to run away with people. If he runs away at this juncture, he will completely miss the position of the boss of the Whirlpool gang. Boss, what to do now? What should I do? Take military technology. I want to fight them to the death. Luo Yixi said through gritted teeth. Haha, Yifei, this gorilla arm is so cool. Jack said to Yifei excitedly after punching a Maelstrom boy against the wall. Stop playing, Jack. You can use this to your heart's content when you go to a boxing match. Today we are here to make it official. Yifei reloaded the smart weapon in his hand again and said to Jack. There are quite a lot of people in the Maelstrom gang today, at least twice as many as last time when there were only a dozen people. More than 50 people fired wildly at them together. The deterrent effect of that scene was quite great. Although he was not afraid of those bullets, Jack and V still had to dodge. Boys, hit me hard. Luo Yixi was upstairs manipulating a heavy machine gun and firing wildly in Yifei's direction. A group of stinky mercenaries who don't know the heights of the heavens and the earth. I want you to taste my strength. The powerful firepower made V and Jack dare not show up outside the bunker. In addition, most of their weapons today are the sophisticated weapons used by the military technology transport team, which are better than those used by the little brothers of the Maelstrom gang last time. Phew. Luo Yixi, the firepower is so strong. This battle was the fiercest they had ever fought. Even the previous stronghold of the Tiger Claw gang was not as fierce as here. Forget it, I'll take care of everything. After Yifei finished speaking, he rushed out. He didn't want to waste too much time in this kind of place. The extremely fast speed made Yifei feel that the world had stopped in his perspective. He took out a kinetic pistol and shot at the head of the Whirlpool gang on the first floor. Since the battle was to be resolved quickly, Luo Yixi, who was upstairs holding a heavy machine gun and firing, was indispensable. Yifei rushed directly to Luo Yixi's side and grabbed him to the place where they were hiding before. All the gunfire in the huge Whole Foods factory stopped in an instant, and from the perspective of V and Jack, Yifei had just finished saying that he had solved everything. In less than a second, Luo Yixi, who had been arrogantly firing at them upstairs just now, was stepped on the ground by Yifei and pointed a pistol at his head with a dazed expression. What happened? But from Luo Yixi's perspective, he was even more confused. He felt that his perspective was blurred for a moment and appeared in this place, and he was stepped on by Yifei. Where are people? Hurry up and call me. As soon as Luo Yixi yelled, he found that the Whole Foods processing plant was extremely quiet now, and his echo could even be heard. And the gunshots that were still ringing just now have all stopped. Yifei, you are really a pervert. Jack swallowed. He only felt his throat was very dry now, and he even glanced at Luo Yixi when he was yelling just now. The members of the Whirlpool gang who had been firing at them just now were all lying on the ground motionless. And without exception, there was a big hole in the head of these people, and it was obvious that they were shot in the head by Yifei. Are you a pervert? Are you Luo Yixi, the boss of the Maelstrom gang? Yifei glared at Jack angrily, and then asked Luo Yixi at his feet. Boom. Seeing that Luo Yixi under his feet didn't speak, Yifei kicked him to the side of the corpses of those Whirlpool gang boys. I'm asking you something. Talk. Yifei's voice came again, and Luo Yixi came back to his senses, feeling the incomparable pain in his abdomen, and then he saw clearly all the brothers of the Whirlpool gang who had fallen to the ground. Yes, yes, yes. I am Luo Yixi, the boss of the Maelstrom gang. Please don't kill me, don't kill me. Luo Yixi is crazy, but why did he go crazy seeing this hellish scene? Completely terrified. Well, Dexter called us here, saying that you hacked one of his prototype robots called Xiaopingtu. Is there such a thing? Yes, yes, I will take you to get it now. As long as you let me go, you can take all the Curry military technology in our warehouse. Luo Yixi just wants to save his life now. The reason why he dared to fight Yifei just now is entirely because the layout of the Whole Foods factory today is much stronger than the firepower and personnel a week ago. As a result, Yifei solved everything in an instant. How to fight. The three of Yifei followed Luo Yixi to the warehouse, and soon Luo Yixi took out their target Xiaopingtu. Yifei took a look. Well, it's not much different from the small crew cut in the game. Yifei even scanned it. This is the crew cut you're looking for. Luo Yixi is going to scold Dexter, that fat black man. In his heart now, he just wants to make more money, but Dexter actually finds Yifei, a lunatic, to slaughter them. Help. It's just that Luo Yixi now only hopes that Yifei can release him as soon as he gets Xiaopingtu. He hasn't had enough of the boss position yet. Why don't you die if you find everything? Yifei looked at Luo Yixi in question with a face full of doubts. He would not leave himself alive with a time bomb that might retaliate against him. He knows these guys too well. When you are stronger than him, he admits to you. If one day Yifei leaves Night City, his subordinates will be punished if they don't keep everything together. Even when Lucy and V were out shopping, their Maelstrom gang could still send people to assassinate them. What? When Luo Yixi heard Yifei's words, he turned his head and ran away. He didn't expect that Yifei would kill someone without even pretending. It's just that Jack can stay at the door of the warehouse at this time, waiting for Royce to come out. Where are you going? Jack said that the gorilla's arm had already started to drive with all its strength, and it punched Luo Yixi hard on the head. Phew, just like that, the boss of the Whirlpool gang who had just taken office for less than a week died here. Yifei put away his flat head, glanced at the equipment surrounded by military technology marks, and suddenly thought of an idea to make a fortune. Ding! Yifei dialed the number Dexter had given him. Who are you? How did you know my phone number? On the other end of the phone, a mature-looking woman answered the phone, but he was surrounded by military technology soldiers. Miss Stott, I know you are looking for your military technology equipment. Presumably you don't want these equipment to fall into the hands of those gangs in Night City. Yifei said, all our equipment is in your hands. Stott originally thought that the caller was just a gangster, but he walked out of here immediately after hearing the whereabouts of the equipment he was in charge of. No, I just broke into the stronghold of the Maelstrom gang. Guess what I found in the warehouse Curry? Yifei said with a smile. You mean the Maelstrom gang intercepted our convoy? Stott glanced at the man she was torturing. This gang of remodelers, besides them, there are those madmen who dare to rob the company. Yifei shrugged and said, 50,000 euros. Stott gave Yifei a price he liked without even blinking an eye. Anyway, the most valuable crew cut will be taken away by them, and the rest of the equipment will be handed over to Stott for her to take away. Whole Foods factory. I don't need to say more about the exact location, Miss Stott. Yifei directly stated the location. Anyway, he was not afraid that Stott would dare to renege. Stott hung up the phone immediately after getting the location. It was obvious that she was going to bring someone here now. Jack, you and David first take the guns below to find a suitable buyer. V and Lucy take Xiaopingtu back to the apartment. I'm here to trade with people from military technology. Yifei wouldn't be so stupid as to ask the military technologists to take away those guns as well. That pile was worth at least 20,000 euros. Mosquitoes are meat no matter how small they are. The most important ones are the Curry ones. Although he took Xiaopingtu away, the others are also military technology that has not yet appeared on the market. No problem, then let's go first, the Ritz bar is waiting for you. Jack nodded, and then V walked up to Yifei and said, be careful, and be safe when dealing with those company dogs. It's okay, don't you know my skills? Yifei laughed. After Jack and the others left, Yifei waited for another 10 minutes. There was a sound of hurried footsteps, and Yifei walked out of the warehouse and saw several military technology soldiers armed with live ammunition. Don't move. I told you to stand there and not move. One of the tech soldiers pointed a gun at Yifei and yelled. At this time, a mature woman in high heels walked into the Whole Foods factory, and the air inside made her frown as soon as she walked in, and then she saw the scene of blood flowing into a river inside. Are you the one who called me just now? Stott looked at Yifei proudly. Although the scene in the Whole Foods factory looked scary, it was not enough for a small senior executive of her company to scare her. Wow, I said if I were you I wouldn't let one of my men point a gun at me. Yifei said with a flat face that he hasn't killed all the tech soldiers present because he doesn't want to do it, but it doesn't mean he doesn't mind killing them. Put your guns down. Stott didn't know why, but after hearing Yifei's words, she felt a tremor in her heart, and she simply asked the soldier to put down the gun. Where is the thing I want? Stott asked with a flat face. Shouldn't you settle the bill first, Ms. Stott, before accepting the delivery? Yifei smiled and said, facing the rich man who gave him money, Yifei has always been quite tolerant. Turn around. As soon as Stott's eyes lit up, Yifei received the account information of 50,000 euros. Cheer up, I'll take you to the warehouse right now. After Yifei finished speaking, he took Stott and the others to Kang Curry. Stott looked around, and the things here are indeed the goods that were robbed in their transport this time, but there is only one important thing missing. A prototype robot of military technology, Xiaoping. Immediately, Stott's face became extremely ugly. You must know that she was willing to pay 50,000 euros because of the flat head. If there is no flat head here, the things here are worth at most 40,000 euros. Where did Xiaoping go? Stott looked at Yifei with a gloomy face and said. Little flat head, what's that? When I came here, there were only these things left. Yifei shrugged his shoulders, his face didn't blush or his heart skipped a beat when he lied. Boss, he didn't lie. One of the tech soldiers who had scanned Yifei from the beginning said to Stott. Yifei couldn't help but sneered in his heart. Just kidding, I am a Superman, controlling my heartbeat and facial micro-expression is like drinking water, even if I connect with that soldier, it is impossible to find out that he is lying. Of course, Yifei doesn't like to connect with men, and it's about the same for Stott. Stott's face suddenly became very ugly. If Xiaoping is not here and is no longer in Yifei's hands, then he has already been sold by the Maelstrom gang. But now all the people here are dead, and there is still Luo Yixie's body at the door, so Xiaoping can't be found at all. Ms. Stott, in fact, you don't need to worry too much. I have heard a little bit about Xiaoping. It is a prototype robot produced by your military technology company. I took it from an undeveloped researcher. I got some data, which seems to be for robots like Xiaoping. Yifei took out a chip as he said that. He didn't do anything in 10 minutes, and borrowed the computer from the Maelstrom gang. I just scanned the flathead just to see where there are defects. According to Yifei's current super brain, it is easy to write some defects of the small flathead for the chip. What? Stott was shocked. Xiaoping is a latent robot designed by his company last month to target waste boards. If what Yifei said is true, then as long as Stott gets this data, he can not only make up for his mistakes, but also possibly it may not be possible to go further. What do you want? As much as Stott wanted the data, she also knew there was no such thing as a free lunch. It's nothing. Ms. Stott just gave me 50,000 euros. Take this data as a gift from me. Yifei didn't ask for more money, sometimes it's better to give a little favor. Saying that, Yifei took out the chip and handed it to Stott. I like to work with smart people like you. I think I will definitely find you to do business when I have the opportunity in the future. Stott personally checked the chip in Yifei's hand, and found that it was indeed the shortcoming of the small flathead researched by the company's internal research data, and even had a countermeasure. Small, have a nice evening, Ms. Stott. After Yifei finished speaking, she walked out of the Whole Foods processing plant. Back home, Yifei took a shower first. Yifei, you said that we will need this little thing for our next commission. At this time, Lucy is currently debugging the data of the small flathead standing on the table, and V is looking at the robot curiously and said. That's right, our next commission will be very dangerous, and we really need this robot to help us carry out the mission. Yifei's words made V couldn't help but become serious. Even Yifei said it was a very dangerous commission, so the mission goal this time is so terrible. Ding. At this time Yifei received a call from Dexter. How was your evening, Mr. Yi? Dexter greeted Yifei first, and it was obvious that he had heard that Yifei had massacred the Maelstrom gang in the Whole Foods factory again. Dexter couldn't hide the fact that Jack and David went to gangsters to sell guns, but he didn't care about it, he only cared about whether Xiaopingtu got it. I know what you mean, Dexter. Pix is at my house right now, and our team of hackers is debugging it. As Yifei said that, he patted Dexter on the head. Mr. Yi is hardworking in his work, and I will transfer this reward to you later. When Dexter saw Xiaopingtu, he immediately felt relieved. When we meet, pass it on to me. Yifei is not in a hurry to get the money, and he is not in short supply now. Okay, then, Mr. Yi, let's meet tomorrow night at the Afterlife bar, and just report my name when we arrive. Dexter said. By the way, Mr. Yi, our employer, Ms. Evelyn, is eager to meet you. When do you have time? Just tonight. I'll go out after taking a shower. Tell her to meet you at the Liz bar in half an hour. No problem, I'll notify Ms. Evelyn right away. After Dexter finished speaking, Yifei hung up the phone. How is it, Lucy? Have you fully understood the control data of this robot? Yifei patted Lucy on the shoulder and sat beside her and asked. It's okay. With the data and information you provided, I can almost decipher it. This little thing has quite a lot of functions. I think he can find a way to invade even a defense system like the Baron Board Tower. Lucy said. Yifei couldn't help laughing when he heard it. Lucy's words were very coincidental. He knew that the target of this mission was the Cyanbi building. Therefore, the defense system of the Cyanbi building is also very complete. You two have a good rest tonight. I'm going to meet with our employer this time. After Yifei finished speaking, she walked out of the apartment. Inside the Ritz. Hey, isn't this Yifei? Why come to us today when you have time? The bartender greeted Yifei when he saw Yifei coming. Yifei is considered a celebrity at the Ritz bar, and there are many fledgling mercenaries who want to meet Yifei. I have something to talk to someone about, so I'm here. Yifei shrugged his shoulders as he spoke, then looked at Evelyn who was sitting at another seat at the bar and said, So when are you going to start talking to me, Ms. Evelyn? Mr. Dexter told me that you desperately wanted to see me and I came here. Evelyn, who originally wanted to sit by and listen to what Yifei had to say, was obviously taken aback. She had never met Yifei before, so why did she recognize her? Why do you know me? Evelyn said with some vigilance that her commission this time can be said to be breaking ground on Tai Sui, so she must be extremely careful. In case the information leaked, she had to flee Night City as soon as possible, otherwise her own life might be lost. You don't need to be nervous, Evelyn. I saw a photo of you and her in Judy's studio, and Judy mentioned you to me. Yifei smiled and said, This is not a lie, he and Judy have a good relationship, and Judy will often tell Yifei about her own affairs. That's right, I'm sorry, my matter is so important that I don't want to make any mistakes. Evelyn breathed a sigh of relief when she heard Yifei's explanation. If this person can handle Judy well, then it should be very reliable. It's okay. It's normal for employers to have concerns. There is no need to apologize. Yifei shook his head and said in a very gentle manner. Evelyn was a little stunned for a while, and then immediately came back to her senses. Ahem, let's talk in Judy's studio, it's not very convenient here. After speaking, he stood up and walked towards the underground studio. Yifei didn't even need Evelyn to lead the way, he knew how to get to Judy's studio with his eyes closed. Wow, the Vortex gang added another 67 people to Dead Man's Lottery today, and it's almost breaking 100. It was already past midnight, and the Dead Man's Lottery, a major program in Night City, had also drawn a lottery. Judy sat at her desk and looked at the Dead Man's Lottery on a screen, and it was obvious that Judy knew that it was Yifei who did it. Really, I remember that there should be 1 or 2 more people. Yifei smiled and said. Should none of you be injured? Judy asked casually. Fortunately, the group of reformers from the Uzumaki gang can't hurt us. Yifei shook his head. Then he dragged a chair from the side and sat on it. Actually, it's okay. Lucy and I hacked a dozen people from the Whirlpool gang first, and then I killed them all with a smart weapon after entering. That scene was really cool. Gone. It sounds like a good super dream material, but unfortunately we don't have time to do it today. Judy imagined the scene Yifei said a little bit, and found it quite interesting. Yifei, I just told you straight to the point, this time our goal is the Cyanide building. Evelyn said with a serious face. Really, sounds a bit challenging, but you should go into more detail. Compared with Evelyn's serious and tense expression, Yifei's face didn't show any sense of tension at all, and even seemed a little sleepy. Yifei, I think you still have to think about it carefully. This matter is too dangerous, and you, Xiao, why did you put your mind on Wangban Laishuan? Seeing Yifei's cynical look, Judy felt a little anxious. Naturally, she edited Cheomong for Evelyn in advance, and knew what Evelyn wanted to do this time. But at the same time, Yifei is a friend she doesn't hate, and she gets along very well with her. Judy doesn't want to lose such an interesting friend. That's right, in Judy's opinion, this mission is no different from courting death. Judy, you don't understand. This matter is the only possibility for me to get rid of the status quo and soar into the sky. Just take it as me begging you. Evelyn finally found such a reliable mercenary, and she didn't want Judy to persuade her to quit when she was about to kick the door. Judy, I have already accepted the commission this time. Since I have accepted the task, I have to help the employer complete the commission. Are you right? Yifei's tone was gentle, but what she said made Judy feel so firm. After being silent for a while, Judy looked at Yifei and said, I hope you have the opportunity to come to my place to record the scene of making a big fuss in the Cyanide building. Of course, you're the best Mewtwo technician in the city. Yifei said with a smile. Even in a somewhat depressing situation, Yifei's smile brought a sense of relief to the depressing atmosphere. As for Evelyn, he is just one of Yifei's employers, and Yifei won't care what she thinks. Yifei also thought about the possible ending she might face if he went to tell Evelyn himself. So can Evelyn stop? No, this in itself is a big gamble for Evelyn's future. No matter what the ending is, he can only accept it silently. Yifei will not pity him, because this is the greatest disrespect for a dream chaser. Judy, do you know why I, a former wanderer, came to Night City? Too much, Yifei, money, power, fame and all kinds of human desires. I have seen many people of all kinds, mercenaries, puppets, street gang punks, they all want to be Night City legend. It's just a pity that our legends will eventually be buried in the soil. At the end, Judy also shrugged. I will also become a legend in Night City in the future, of course, the living one. Wow, don't I know a living legend? It's a pity that I'm not in the mood today, otherwise I would definitely have a drink with you. Judy imagined that scene, and immediately felt a little longing. After watching the Cheomong video of the Cyanide building and confirming the location of the relic chip, Yifei walked out of the Ritz bar. He still held Judy's very precious pistol in his hand, and then Yifei remembered the scene when Judy gave him the pistol. This is my pistol. It's called Liz. It's a good technical pistol. It's out of production now. It's the only one in Night City. I'll lend you this pistol. Remember to return it to me. Have you understood? Judy stroked Liz in her hand, and then put it in Yifei's arms. Thank you, Judy, I'll bring it back intact and return it to you. After Yifei finished speaking, Judy didn't respond, but walked back to her studio and closed the door. Yifei didn't know, could it be that Judy was straightened by herself? But after thinking about it, I think it's impossible. Although I have a good relationship with Judy, even if the male V in the game helped Judy settle the matter of Genting, I didn't attack Judy. How could I possibly be able to straighten an old lace these days? Without thinking too much, Yifei went home, and of course, he had an agreement with Jack and the others beforehand. Back home again, Yifei didn't do anything, but lay directly on the sofa and watched the bustling scene of Night City outside the window. Chapter 61. Noon the next day, Yifei took V and Lucy to Victor's clinic. And David and Jack were already waiting there. After all, stealing Relic was going to Cyanide building, a key building of Araba Company. The defensive power will not be much weaker than that of the Wangban Tower. So Yifei asked everyone who went to the hotel to go to Victor to install a skin prosthesis. Not much to put on, but the best subcutaneous armor must be added. Yifei has already contacted Victor after fighting the Whirlpool gang yesterday. Because it was an urgent need, even Victor's contacts had to spend a lot of money to buy the 4th order subcutaneous armor for the two of them. The purchase price for one set was 30,000, and it was too difficult to get 2 sets of Tier 4 subcutaneous armor in a short time. It usually takes half a year for a set to come out on the black market, and if it weren't for the people Victor knows, they wouldn't be able to buy it. As for V, she has installed subcutaneous armor before, so Yifei doesn't need to install this thing. David and Jack installed it first, and they were lying on the bed in the clinic to slowly feel the anesthesia brought by the anesthetic. David also installed some more limb prostheses by the way, such as the same leg thrusters as in the anime, and the second-order gorilla arms. Of course, the money was sold for the guns of the Uzumaki gang. Yifei directly gave Dave Wei used to install multiple prosthetic bodies. Yifei, how can you accept such a dangerous commission? Because Victor needed to add Tier 4 subcutaneous armor to both V and Lucy later, he didn't choose to drink, but drank a little. It's nothing, I just went to Wangban's site to play. Yifei took a sip from the drink on the table and said. How could this kind of task be for fun? Do you think this is a child's game? Victor's voice became a little stern. He was very optimistic about Yifei. From this young man Victor saw some qualities that were not found in Night City. So he still wanted to persuade the young man. Old Wei, I know what you want to say, but I have the confidence to take them through this test. Yifei smiled, revealing confidence between the lines. Well, since you said that, I don't want to say so much anymore, so as not to bore you. But since you plan to do it, then you will make a mess, don't be a wimp. Victor said, the meaning behind the words is that Yifei and the others have a high probability of dying in the Cyanbai building. Don't worry, Lao Wei, if we go out, we must make the biggest noise. At this time, Jack, who was lying on the hospital bed and had recovered, shouted. You'd better save yourself. When Misty knows what you're going to do, she will have to skin you. When Victor heard Jack's words, he rolled his eyes at Jack and said. Hee, I don't know if watching Saburo Arata's curtain call will be exciting enough. Yifei said in his heart. Afternoon, Afterlife bar. This is an unusual place. It used to be a morgue here, but Rob took a fancy to it and transformed it into a bar. Of course, it was not completely renovated. People who entered the bar could see some medical equipment that can be seen everywhere, as well as those who soaked in 4 Marlin people. You know, Yifei, although we have done many big orders before, but only when we really set foot here, can we feel like a big shot. When Jack walked into the Leisheng bar, he couldn't help talking to Yifei a little excitedly. The boss here, Rog, is the real top middleman in Night City. We mercenaries call him the heart of Night City. Every big deal here needs Rog's nod to make a deal. Jack's mouth was still chattering like that. Yifei and the others sat at the bar of the bar. When the bartender Claire saw Yifei and the others, he walked up to their seats and said, would you like something to drink? Jack, girl, get me an old-fashioned tequila with some beer and chili. Yifei, I'll have a drink too. David, just have a beer. V, me and Lucy both want a glass of whiskey. The bartender Claire glanced at Jack and said, the taste is good, 2 glasses of Johnny Silver Hands. After talking to another bartender next to him, he turned around to serve others. Why is the name of the drink that Jack just ordered called Johnny Silverhand? David was a little confused. You don't know this, the coolest thing about the afterlife is that you will name the wine after the guest. This is a feature of the afterlife, but if you want your wine to really be named after the afterlife, you have to be a legend. Of course, the legends of Night City are dead. As soon as Jack finished speaking, Claire put 2 glasses of wine in front of Yifei and Jack. It seems that you all have a good understanding of the past life, how about it? Do you want to name the wine with your own name? But if you want to name the wine, you have to die first, and you will die vigorously. That's right, this is so cool, I want to save a recipe for myself here. Girl, can you save my recipe? Jack asked Claire. Tell me. My name is Jack Wells and my recipe is vodka over ice, a little lime juice and ginger beer, and a little love at the end. In the end, Jack was a bit skinny. Ha ha ha, okay, I'll make a note of it. Claire actually took out a notepad and wrote Jack's formula on it. Is this handsome guy interested in leaving a recipe? After memorizing Jack's recipe, Claire asked Yifei. Me, I won't die, I'll be a living legend. Yifei replied with a smile. Claire didn't refute it either. Anyway, in the next life, every mercenary said that she would become a legend, and her ears were already ringing. But most of it is just bragging. It's just that if Claire knew what kind of commission Yifei and the others were working on, she probably wouldn't think that Yifei was bragging. Dexter, Sean's driver and part-time bodyguard, had already walked to Yifei's side at this time. Our boss's side is ready, you can go in now. Hearing this, Yifei drank the wine in his hand and stood up. And Jack and V also followed Yifei into the box. Walking into the box, I saw Dexter leaning on the sofa, smoking a cigar and puffing away. Sitting next to him was a woman in black customer service, which Yifei recognized immediately. T-Bug. Hey, Mr. Yi, you are finally here. I didn't expect that there are quite a lot of people in your team. Although Dexter already knew how many people were in Yifei's team, he was still a little surprised to see that Yifei had brought them all. Mr. Dexter, I think we can get straight to talking about operations. Yifei didn't pay attention to Dexter's words, and said straight to the point. Cheer up, Mr. Yi, I need to introduce you. This is the top hacker in T-Bug Night City. I don't think the hackers in your team are as good as Miss T-Bug. After finishing speaking, Dexter took a look at Lucy and V, who were following Yifei, and was a little surprised. Although he had seen it in the photos, he was still shocked by that color when he saw the real person. The value is amazing. Of course, he quickly withdrew his gaze. He wasn't sure if Lucy and V were Yifei's women. And his purpose for letting T-Bug come is also obvious. After all, this mission is very important, but the people who acted are all Yifei's subordinates, which made Dexter have to be careful. I think Miss T-Bug should be on the same level as Lucy, and the two of them can work together. Of course, Yifei knew what Dexter meant, but Yifei would not accept that T-Bug should be responsible for their personal safety, so he took a compromise plan and asked T-Bug and Lucy to work together. Having two top hackers to break into the system is also a lot easier. Hearing this, T-Bug became a little dissatisfied. She is one of the top hackers in Night City, even if she is a member of the Voodoo Gang, as long as it is not their boss, she is basically not afraid of anyone. Now this little girl brought by Yifei, who looks less than 20, is said by him to be on par with his own skills. But she didn't say anything. After all, as long as Dexter had no objection, she didn't bother to care. Anyway, Dexter was the one who paid. Okay, come on, Mr. Yi, you insert this chip first. Dexter handed Yifei a chip, and Yifei also took it and inserted it directly into the slot. I have arranged the identities of the four of you. The arms dealers of military technology go to discuss business with them. The goods are the small flat heads in your hands. Speaking of which, Dexter took a look at Yifei. Yifei gave David a wink, and David put the suitcase in his hand on the table and opened it to reveal a small robot. Miss TBUG and Miss Lucy will help you break through the sub-network of Cyanby building and control their surveillance system, so that you will have time to go to Arbin Leishuan's room and take the relic chip. When you get to the hotel, release Xiaopingtu first, and this Miss Lucy and I will hack into the network of Cyanby building to control their monitoring system, and then use Xiaopingtu to solve their wasteboard hacking. You guys are no different from shopping in the Yanbi building. After TBUG finished speaking, he glanced at Lucy, and he seemed very relaxed inside and outside the words. Then we got the chip, where do we meet? Yifei asked. I've already made arrangements. If everything goes well, we'll drink and celebrate here. If something goes wrong, Delaman will take you to find me. Dexter replied after taking a puff on his cigar. Shish, Dexter, you are really rich, and you are willing to rent a Delaman taxi. Jack heard Dexter say that Delaman knew their car for this mission. Hee, these are small money, I ordered the best set meal for you, don't let me down. Dexter said somewhat proudly. I want to ask how long it will take to get the money after we get the chip. David asked. Dexter glanced at David, although he didn't want to explain to the little kid, but he still replied for Yifei's sake. It depends on our employer, when she can sell the chip, when we get it to the money. Hearing this, Yifei couldn't help but sneered and said, you still get the money. Wait until you steal the chip. Even if Saburo Araba doesn't die, he will be hunted down by Araba in 3 days, not to mention the money, his life will be lost. Throw it away. Mr. Yi, I have finished speaking, do you have any questions? Dexter said. Mr. Dexter, you need to set an additional item on your Delaman taxi. After the people in the car are injured, they must be sent to the clinic first. Yifei makes no secret of his thoughts, and that's what matters. Although Yifei is confident that he can protect his companions, there will always be some variables, and he will not gamble. The expression on Dexter's face froze when he heard this. He didn't expect Yifei, a mercenary, to think of such a thing. But now that things have come to this point, all aspects of the operation have been almost done, and there is no way to change people. Okay, Mr. Yi, I will give Delaman this instruction. Your suits are also ready, you can go and change them. Hearing this, Yifei stood up, picked up the clothes on the table, took Jack and the four of them to change. After a few minutes, tisk tisk, I didn't expect that I, Jack Wells, would be able to dress like a company dog one day. Jack looked at the suit on his body and sighed. David didn't respond at all. The school uniform of Arbon Academy was similar to this one. V's side is different. She looks like an urban elite white-collar woman when she wears it. Maybe it's because V still has the option of being a company employee. Hey, sister, you are really beautiful in this dress. Yes, Miss V looks really good looking. Both David and Jack praised again and again. And V glanced at Yifei. Well, yes, very beautiful. If you were a rich daughter, I wouldn't doubt it at all. Hearing Yifei's words, V finally smiled. Wow, Mr. Yi, you and Ms. Versus really look like people from the company in suits. Mr. David's suits don't feel out of place at all. Mr. Jack is. Not bad. Dexter also praised the few people who had changed their clothes. Dex, what do you mean I don't look like a company person? Jack said with some dissatisfaction. He admitted that although he didn't have the good appearance of Yifei and V, but he didn't even have an adjective. Well, Jack, we're not here for fun. Yifei turned around and said something, then looked at Dexter again. Mr. Yi, we will contact you after you enter the room in the Cyan Bai building. Of course, we will use our own channel. The public phone channel cannot be used. There are network monitoring hackers in the Cyan Bai building who can monitor our conversation. Dexter said. Yifei nodded in agreement. To be honest, if he were to do this job alone, Yifei probably would have just punched him without bringing anything. Then I will use a sentence from Wagwo to wish you all, I wish you success and return in triumph. At this time, Dexter did not forget to show off the words he learned overnight. You for the taxi is already waiting outside, and I have changed the procedure. As long as someone is seriously injured, Delaman will take you to the clinic. Lucy and T-Bug each went to their own hacking rooms. After walking out of the box, Yifei and the others were waiting for Delaman's car at the door. Yifei, you said what if Dexter hadn't modified the program? Jack asked with some concern, although he was so ambitious before he came, but in fact he was also frightened. After all, they were going to steal Wangban Lishuan's things this time. Although there is no intention of retreating, there is still some timidity in my heart. The same is true for David, but now he is only nervous and can't say anything more. V felt that with Yifei around, the situation shouldn't be too bad. It doesn't matter whether I change it or not. Anyway, after I get in the car, they won't be able to control everything. Yifei shook his head. He wouldn't believe Dexter's nonsense. After waiting for about 5 minutes, the Delaman taxi drove up to them. Yifei and the others got into the car. And after they got in the car, someone who was drinking a drink at the door of the Afterlife bar made a phone call. Boss, they are all in the car. Well, that's fine, it's all right now. Dexter hung up the phone after hearing the answer he wanted, and then waited here silently. Of course, he didn't change Delaman's program. Hey, is this the best taxi in Night City? Tisk tisk tisk, I didn't expect that I, Jack Wells, would be able to enjoy this kind of treatment one day. Jack touched the low-key but not lacking in luxury interior in the car inside. David was pretty much the same. Yifei shook his head, and invaded Delaman's system as soon as his eyes lit up. Ding. Detected. As soon as Delaman wanted to raise the alarm, he was completely controlled by Yifei. Modify package and service object. Under revision, the package has been changed to the Emperor Travel Package. The privileges of the package include a 1-day free tour of Night City. Delaman will escort you all the way, and in dangerous situations, Delaman will use all weapons to eliminate those who threaten you. Any threat to the life of the person who threatened the person or the passengers in the car will be considered by Delaman as the most important bottom line. Yifei, awesome. The Emperor's travel package, no matter how it sounds, is much better than excellence. Hearing Delaman's feedback, Jack gave Yifei a thumbs up. However, I'm a little curious. If the opponent is from the Araba group, will your car still protect us? The safety of passengers in the car is our most important mission. Delaman enjoys special laws and regulations in Night City. Anyone who threatens the safety of passengers will not be allowed by us. Delaman's mechanical sound came again. Tisk tisk tisk, the person who can make Delaman is not an ordinary person. Jack heard Delaman's answer. Okay, Delaman is only responsible for the safety of our lives after we get in the car, and he will not take the initiative to help you fight the Cyan by building. Yifei said, this vote is our battle for fame, and each of us is a legend after we finish it. At this time, Yifei also received a communication request from Lucy and T-Bug. Of course, Lucy got connected directly, and T-Bug needed permission from Yifei. T-Bug, can you hear me? Yifei, yes. Lucy, is the communication clear? Yifei, it's not clear anymore. Okay, all you have to do is check into the room we reserved after you arrive at the Cyanby building, and let Xiaoping out, and then I can turn the hotel's monitoring system into a waste. At that time, when you go to Arbin Lishuan's room, it will be the same as going to your own home. As long as you get the relic to evacuate safely, our ticket will be over. T-Bug talked a lot, but Lucy didn't care too much. Anyway, she would just invade directly when the time came, and Yifei also wrote an anti-criminal program for her. Even the group of perverted hackers in the network monitoring cannot break through this program. Yifei's access to the background program of network monitoring these days is almost like drinking water. No problem. Yifei nodded. To be honest, T-Bug's plan sounds exactly the same as in the game, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's a pity that at this time, Lishuan Arata and Saburo Arata would quarrel in Lishuan Arata's room in the Konbi building, and the news that Saburo Arata had come to Night City was tightly blocked. Due to the unequal information, T-Bug also didn't know that the network security system of the Cyanby building was also replaced by hackers who were no worse than the network monitoring group. The location of T-Bug was also quickly found and killed by the people of Araba group. Dexter also couldn't get away from this reason, so he was thinking about killing V and fleeing Night City. Yifei closed his eyes and rested in the car. Jack kept talking about his own experiences with David in the car, as if he wanted one more person to know his life. Yifei is also thinking about whether to save T-Bug. To be honest, she is a relatively reliable hacker in the game, and even after knowing Saburo Arata was killed, she did not give up on V and Jack to escape immediately. It was because he continued to help V and Jack invade the roof door that he was quickly found and killed. Blocking T-Bug's communication, Jack also felt that their connection with T-Bug was disconnected by Yifei, and asked in some surprise, Yifei, what's going on? I have a feeling that today's vote will be much bigger than we imagined. So what? I only do big ones, and I don't want to do small ones. Seeing that Jack was obviously nervous but still wanted to clear up the atmosphere for several people in the car, Yifei found it quite interesting. Yifei and the others quickly arrived at the gate of Cyanby building. Jack followed Yifei with a suitcase with a flat head, and their weapons were all placed in the Delaman taxi. Yifei and V looked like the kind of company elites in their clothes. Although David was young, he was worthy of being a company employee, but Jack followed them like a bodyguard for several people. As soon as Yifei entered the door, he saw the extremely luxurious decoration of the Cyanby mansion. Can it be said that it is indeed one of the special residences with a plate or the best hotel in Night City? A few people quickly walked to the hotel's scanners. Yifei was full of original goods, so there was no need to worry. Although David and V had prosthetic bodies, they did not trigger the alarm, and when Jack passed by with the box, the scanning door sounded the alarm. Alert! Someone is carrying a weapon. The security guard touched his waist cautiously, but still said in a gentle tone, "Sir, why do you want to bring a small combat robot?" "We are here to discuss business with Mr. Takikawa. This combat robot is a sample we brought to Mr. Takikawa. Do you need me to open it for you to have a look?" Yifei replied arrogantly, "That looks very much like someone who came out of the company." The security guard was taken aback for a moment, and then took out the walkie-talkie to confirm, and then another manager in the hotel lobby also realized that Takikawa had indeed told him that someone would look for him this morning and that he would be armed. I'm very sorry, our security didn't know that you were Takikawa-san's guests. I'm very sorry, this is our negligence. The attitude of the lobby manager is very low. HMPH, we're here to discuss business. I hope Mr. Takikawa can say hello in advance next time. Otherwise, it's not like we can't consider other companies. Yifei said in a somewhat unreasonable way. Yes, you are right, we will definitely reflect on our mistakes. Quote. The lobby manager was not angry, he was professionally trained, but said in a very low voice. Seeing this, Yifei also walked to the counter of the hotel with a few people. Arriving here, the decoration of the hotel is different from the facade. The neon-style decoration and antiques are displayed everywhere. The receptionist at the front desk was a golden intelligent robot, and bowed to Yifei in a standard way, double a few watts for you, and welcome several distinguished guests to the Cyanbai Hotel. We're here to discuss business with Mr. Takikawa, so let's check in first. Yifei said with a straight posture. And the three people behind Yifei also had a high profile. Before getting out of the car, Yifei had told them not to speak too smugly, otherwise they would definitely be suspected. The intelligent robot at the front desk said, Okay, please wait a moment and I will check it for you first. May I ask what your reserved name is? Victorino. The room for 4 people is the Lapis Lazuli suite for 4 people. Please place your hand here to scan it, and the gentlemen and ladies in the back also please scan it. After Yifei and the others put their hands on the scanner to scan, the intelligent robot raised its head and said to Yifei, Then, sir, I will notify Takikawa-san for you now. No, we just took a 10-hour flight from Barcelona, and we need to take a good rest before we can talk about business, and then upgrade me to a suite. I want the best quadruple room. Yifei refused at this time, and then took out a bank chip and handed it to the robot. Okay, your suite has been upgraded, but Takikawa-san has been waiting for several gentlemen in the conference room for several hours, isn't it? The robot turned out that the bank chip upgraded the suites for Yifei and the others, and then asked hesitantly. No, we will contact the doctor after we rest. Yifei waved his hand, and then took Jack and the others to the elevator. After entering the elevator, Jack's whole person changed back to the temperament of a street gangster before. I'm going, Yifei, the way you look just now is really similar to the senior management of those companies. I almost thought we were really here to discuss business. That's right, Brother Yi, your momentum just now is stronger than that of the dean of our college. David said with a sigh at this time. Yifei, did you secretly work in the company without telling me? V said jokingly. Come on, it was just acting just now, but my acting skills are better, I seem to have fooled you all into it. Yifei also responded with a smile, he still prefers this relaxed feeling. This feeling is really exciting, we are like a group of adventurers, going to steal a treasure in Arbin Lishuan's room, it's really cool. Keep this kind of attitude. You need this kind of attitude to accomplish great things. Yifei said, but don't be too excited. The real legends do things silently, and then let the world test the process to eliminate the myth. Yifei, what you said makes sense. Brother Yi is really right. David and Jack also flattered, although Yifei didn't care about this kind of flattery, but it was also the recognition of his partner. Yifei was quite happy. The elevator soon arrived at the luxurious 4-person suite that Yifei had booked. After entering the room, Yifei unlocked the communication shield with T-Bug. Bug, Lucy, we've already checked into the hotel, let's let the crew out now. Yifei said to the 2 people who communicated. Okay. After hearing Yifei's words, Lucy and T-Bug also started to hack into the hotel's system. David and Jack were shocked by the interior of the room. It can only be said that it is the most luxurious quadruple room in the best hotel in Night City. All the furniture and decoration are the best products of the Araba Group, and there is a waterproof high-end projector in the center of the coffee table. There are also some precious bonsai placed in the room, these are not a small expense. Hello from Lee, tisk tisk tisk, rich people still enjoy it. Jack sighed, if it wasn't for their urgent task, he would definitely enjoy sun here for a night. Although David had seen patches of green plants in Arbin Academy, they were not better than the ones in front of him, so he nodded again and again when he heard Jack's words. Jack and David stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, which was already one of the tallest and best views of the Cyanide building, basically overlooking all the buildings in Night City. You can't see those neon lights that are feasting and feasting, those bright lights are all below, it looks like countless light spots are serialized together. Looking up, you can see the sky that they usually can't see when you look up. On the bottom of Night City, you can only see countless high-rise buildings and light rail. When you go to some top floors, you can only see the buildings of big companies, and there are flying in the sky, floating car. Haha, we have also experienced the life of a rich man. Jack looked down and sighed. Jack, David, we won't be mercenaries all our lives, and it's only a matter of time before we become rich. Yi-Fei looked at the two people who were looking at the scenery below in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows and said, "It's true, we may have enough to eat and drink after finishing this vote." Jack also sighed when he heard Yi-Fei's words. Yi-Fei didn't answer, but took out his flat head. "Yi-Fei, are we going to Lai Chi's room now?" When Jack saw Yi-Fei take out his small crew cut, he thought he was going to work now. "No, it will take some time for me and Lucy to break through the network. During this time, you can take a good rest in your room." The voice of T-Bug came, and she was busy finding the network loopholes in the Cyanide building at this time, while Lucy was silent, working. In her opinion, the sooner she breaks through the network system of Cyanide building, Yi-Fei and their mission will be completed faster, and the safer Yi-Fei will be. So she has no intention of chatting now. "Great, when I came in, I wanted to experience this big bed." Jack threw himself on the bed in the room when he heard T-Bug's words. The same goes for David, and the two heartless fell asleep in bed in no time. Yi-Fei was sitting on the sofa, and V just sat beside him. "Yi-Fei, promise me that no matter what the situation is, you will take good care of your own interests." What V said made Yi-Fei tremble. "Don't worry, V, don't you know my skills?" Yi-Fei said the standard words again. "I know you are amazing, but I also want you to promise me." V's eyes are firm and his expression is serious. "It is good." Yi-Fei didn't say much this time, only answered with one word. Seeing the pretty face so close at hand, Yi-Fei directly awed up. V didn't refuse but responded with some jerk. She remembered the same thing as when she was holding Yi-Fei and sitting in the field when she was 16 years old. While Yi-Fei and the others were resting in the hotel, 10 huge aeroplanes were flying towards Night City at an extremely fast speed over the Pacific Ocean. This is Saburo Arama's exclusive car. In the aircraft, an old man who looks a little thin but full of energy is looking at the tablet in his hand. Standing beside him was a man who didn't look very strong but had a strong aura. "Guro." Saburo Arata put the tablet on the table, hammered his neck with his hand and said, "Master Saburo." Guro Takamura squatted beside Saburo Arata with a very respectful expression. "Look at this report." Saburo Arata pointed to the tablet on the table and said, "Yes." Guro Takamura picked up the tablet on the table immediately after hearing what Saburo Arata said. After a few minutes, "Guro, what do you think?" "Master Saburo, I think this report is purely deceiving you. There is no need for you to go to Night City by yourself, it is not safe for you." Takamura Guro put the tablet in his hand on the table and expressed his analysis. The tablet on the table contained all Yi-Fei's information, including all the reports he had received since he entered Night City. "Hehe, I also think this matter is unlikely. I didn't install the prosthetic body, but the strength of the body is actually stronger than the uprising body. By the way, have you confirmed it with Liaison?" Saburo Arata shook his head and said, but his eyes were fixed on the flat eyes on the table, full of greed and longing. The shareholders of the Night City headquarters have always thought that Master Liaison is too radical. Many projects in the Arbin Group's hands have been sold to Kongdao and military technology, and most of our eyeliners in the group have been eliminated by Master Liaison. Takamura Guro replied blankly, although it was the report of Liaison, the anti-waste board, but he, Takamura Guro, was only loyal to Arata Saburo, that's all. Well, it seems that the experience of the past few years did not make this guy reflect, but it was a very wrong decision. Saburo Arata said in a tone of hating iron but not steel. "Master Sanlang, Master Liaison must have made these decisions in a moment of confusion. I believe he also wanted to make these decisions for the development of the group. He, my son, I know him too well. I was eager to prove myself and did a series of stupid things. Even if the people under him are capable, he is not willing to listen to his opinions. I am more promising than him in giving birth to a piece of barbecued pork. If possible, I would rather Guro, you are my son. Urama Saburo's words made Takamura Guro terrified and said, Master Saburo, please don't say these words, and Master Lyle will become your excellent successor in 10 walks in the future. I hope so. Saburo Arata chuckled, and picked up the tablet on the table to look at it again. 2 hours later, Yifei, Lucy and I have broken through the network defense system of the Arasaka building, and you can start to act. T-Bug's voice came, and V quickly lifted his head against Yifei's shoulder. Ahem, I see. Yifei also tidied up her somewhat messy collar and responded. Walking to the bedside of David and Jack, he reached out and shook them. Wake up, David, Jack, it's time to get up and get the goods. Point 0. Hearing Yifei's words, Jack's loud snoring stopped and he looked around in a daze. Go, work, okay. Jack patted his cheek and woke up immediately. So is David. You two really slept like hell. Yifei was a little speechless. When he first came in, he was so nervous that he was dying, but he fell asleep while lying on the bed. I don't know what to say. Small matter, aren't we already sober? Jack said with a silly smile. After Jack and David were ready, the 4 of them walked to the elevator. After entering the elevator, Yifei first scanned the surveillance probe inside, and when he saw that it was in friendly mode, Yifei nodded. T-Bug and Lucis abilities are pretty good, so Yifei shouldn't be needed right now. Soon the elevator arrived at Arasaka Yoshinobu's room. Walking in and observing the surroundings, Yifei found that except for a little more decorations, there was nothing different from the game. Yifei, I will open the safe freezer with the relic chip for you now. After you go and get him, leave Arasaka Rai's room quickly. T-Bug is very nervous now, can you not be nervous? They are stealing things in the room of the Prince of the Arasaka Empire. Well, Jack, where are you going to get something? I'll find something that works. Yifei nodded and directed. Jack went to the wooden floor by the window and fumbled for a while, found the switch, and pressed it lightly, and the safe freezer slowly rose. Jack, use this chip to open the safe. At this time, Yifei had already got the unlocking chip from Lishuan Arasaka's bedside, and threw it to Jack, holding a pistol with an unusual pattern in his hand. That's one of Arasaka's favorite weapons, the King Kong, and it's a very good kinetic pistol. It was only when Yifei held it in his hand that he felt the extraordinariness of this pistol. It looked like metal, but it was more like holding leather in his hand. Jack had already opened the safety freezer at this time, and the thermostatic suitcase with the relic chip appeared in front of Jack's eyes. Baby, I finally found you. Jack muttered to himself. At this time, a large group of flying hovercraft appeared outside the hotel, surrounded by pure black hovercraft. Yifei, it's not good. Now Arasaka Ryzen is going to the top floor room with Adam Heavy Hammer. T-Bug looked at Adam Heavy Hammer and Arasaka Yoshinobu in the elevator in the surveillance screen and said in a panic. Why is this kid back at this time? Jack panicked when he heard T-Bug's words. Brother Yi, what should we do now? David also looked at Yifei in a panic and said. Yifei had already opened the TV inspection shaft next to him and said to the 3 of Jack, hide in here. Quick. The 4 of them quickly got into the inspection well. Due to the limited space inside, Yifei and V were almost standing next to each other. It looks like V is snuggled up against Yifei's chest. And David and Jack are barely squeezed together. After several people hid, the elevator door opened. Arasaka Lishuan walked into the room with a very irritable expression on his face, and beside him was Adam Hammer, who had been transformed to only 4% of his body. Why did this dead old man come to Night City at this time? Arasaka Liaison was clearly on the verge of going berserk. Almost. He's so close to accomplishing his goal. Just give him time. And beside Reisaka Arasaka, Adam Hammer, who has been transformed into a prosthetic body and mechanized, looks very violent and terrifying. Unlike Jack's prosthetic body, Adam Hammer basically gave up the appearance of a normal human being, and his whole body is covered with metallized mechanical bodies. Armed from head to toe, it can't be more suitable to describe Adam Hammer. Adam Hammer. This is the only living legend in Night City. Jack couldn't help but swear when he saw Adam's hammer. David was too nervous to speak. Yifei, how far is it now? V is also a little nervous, but with Yifei around, he can remain calm. Let's see, and see when Arasaka Yoshinobu will leave. Yifei comforted. He couldn't say that Saburo Arasaka would come later, that would be too scary. Arasaka Lizan sat on the sofa and poured himself a glass of wine, and then drank it all in one gulp. Looking at his constantly shaking legs, he knew that he was also extremely nervous now. Adam Heavy Hammer is standing beside Arasaka Ryzen. As the dedicated mercenary of the Arasaka group, Adam Heavy Hammer has received the support of various weapon prosthetics from the Arasaka group. He only needs to show up when the Wangchung group needs him. No matter how the account is calculated, it is a good deal. Within a few minutes, two figures slowly walked down from the attic on the roof. When Arasaka Lishuan saw the somewhat hunched figure, he quickly stood up, and the irritability on his face disappeared all of a sudden. Even if he was complaining, he didn't dare to make too many mistakes in front of Arasaka Saburo. Saburo Arasaka, David and Jack exclaimed softly at the same time. When the father and son met, they didn't feel tense, but like a pair of ordinary father and son. Takamura Guro nodded to Arasaka Yoshinobu, and then turned on the scanning function of his prosthetic eye. When he scanned the screen, Saburo Arasaka made a sound. Guro, this is my son, what do you mean by that? Saburo Arasaka's voice was very calm. Hearing this, Guro Takamura immediately stopped scanning and bowed to Saburo Arasaka. I'm sorry, Mr. Saburo, I just want to confirm the surrounding environment. Then he stood next to Arasaka Saburo, without even looking at Adam Heavy Hammer who was beside Arasaka Yoshinobu. Holy crap, I thought we were going to be discovered, it's so exciting. Jack was already sweating profusely at this time, and so was David. Dex, how come you can't even figure out that Arasaka Saburo is coming today? V also cursed softly. It's fine that Arasaka Yoshinobu appeared here, and now even the Emperor Arasaka Saburo of the Arasaka Empire appeared here, which was completely beyond their imagination. Stop talking, Adam Hammer is outside, if you don't want to be crushed by him, calm down first. Yi Fei said. Arasaka Saburo is old, but his aura is very strong. On the other hand, Arasaka Yoshinobu, although he is still young, his mental state and aura are not as strong as Arasaka-san. A bit of shadow. Why did you come here? Didn't you agree that I will manage Night City in the future? Arasaka Reinobu said angrily. He was going to completely control the Arasaka branch of Night City, but the arrival of Saburo Arasaka made the situation confusing again. Hehe, you are already going to sell Wangchung Group's last territory in America to those barbarians in the West. If I don't come to the company, I will lose the interests of America. Saburo Arasaka said very flatly. Next, we will have a conversation between father and son. You two should go down first. Arasaka Saburo took a look at Takamura Guro and Adam Heavy Hammer. When his real boss spoke, Adam Heavy Hammer turned his head and left. The conflict between the Arasaka father and son had nothing to do with him, so he didn't bother to care so much. Guro Takamura said hello to Saburo Arasaka, and followed Adam Heavy Hammer into the elevator. I really can't believe that I gave birth to such an evil as you. Waiting until after Takamura Guro and the two left, Saburo Arasaka slowly shook his head and said, Hey, it's time to start. As Yifei spoke, he turned on the ultra-miniature video camera he put on his body and started recording. I am in charge of the strategy of Night City, and I don't need you to dictate. Hearing Arasaka Saburo's words, Arasaka Yoshinobu said angrily. Lizan, you are my son, that's why I hand over such an important America as Night City to you. Arasaka Saburo shook his head first, then looked at Arasaka Lizan with sharp eyes and said, but since you after coming to Night City, not only handed over all the company's projects, but also dismissed all capable people in the company, this is simply nonsense. Speaking of this, Arasaka Saburo hit the ground a few times hard with his crutches. You old man, your method is no longer feasible, and the situation in the world is changing every minute. Night City is no longer monolithic. If we can't come up with new things, it will be a waste of money. The group will be eliminated sooner or later. Arata Lishuan pointed to Arita Saburo's nose, and even called Arita Saburo a dead old man. Is this the excuse you gave your mediocrity and incompetence? You really disappointed me. Just because of these you still want to sell the company's Soul Killer to military technology. Don't you know that Soul Killer has multiple either? Saburo Arabata coughed violently a few times when he said that. Obviously he was irritated by Lishuan Arabata's faint move. Araban Lishuan is really a brain dead. Yi Fei shook his head. You must know that for this Soul Killer, Wangban Lizan did not hesitate to kidnap Johnny Silverhand's girlfriend Otto Cunningham, mastered the Soul Killer, and also attracted the combination of Johnny Silverhand and military technology. Attack. Finally, with the help of the Soul Killer, Saburo Arata gained a foothold in Night City, the last stronghold in America. Now Wangban Lishuan actually wants to hand over this big killer to military technology. This is simply too stupid to be stupid. Even if you are dissatisfied with me, you must not betray your family. We don't need to be too afraid of those barbarians in the West. Our real enemy is in Wagwo on the other side of the ocean. It is Kong Dao. Saburo Arata said. It is precisely because of this that their Wangban group needs the stronghold of Night City to penetrate into the heart of military technology, otherwise when he and Kong Dao start a war, there is no guarantee that military technology will strike them deadly in the back. It turns out that Saburo Arata has never set his eyes on this side, and their goal has always been Wagwo. Yi Fei's pupils shrank, and then he became angry. Unexpectedly, the neon in this world is still undecided. Although he is not a cynic, he has also received the red bath and baptism in his previous life. Faced with this kind of thought, Yi Fei wanted to rush out and kill Saburo Arata immediately. That's enough. I don't need you to control me. In Night City, I am the master here. You still feel like going back to Tokyo. Anyway, you have to tell me what I do. After listening to Saburo Arama's words, Lishuan Arabata began to react, but now he can't control so much at all. Even if he is wrong, he will be wrong to the end. The angry Wangban Lishuan smashed all the things that could be smashed in the room, and even threw 2 wine bottles at the TV screen, scaring Jack and David. Fortunately, the brand of the TV screen seems to be made by Kong Dao, so there is no wear and tear. I'm really sad for you like this. If your mother is still alive, I would rather see you like this. I don't want to see her disappointed. Saburo Arata said with a bit of hatred for iron. Arama Lishuan was still smashing things in the room, but when she heard what Araba Saburo said, her eyes turned red all of a sudden. You are not allowed to mention your mother. You are not worthy at all. Arata Lishuan yelled hysterically, and then both hands ruthlessly pinched Arata Saburo's neck. How could Arama Saburo, who is already more than 100 years old, be the opponent of Araba Lishuan who is in his prime? During this period, Yi Fei recklessly gave Arama Lishuan a close-up of the camera, recording in detail the expressions on Araba Lishuan and Araba Lishuan's faces. After about 2 minutes, Saburo Arama died in front of Yi Fei and the others without too much struggle and resistance. Of course, it's across a screen. Arama Lishuan who had finished all this was laid out on the ground, looking at Arama Saburo who had fallen on the ground and was already lifeless. Various emotions began to appear on Araba Lishuan's face. There is fear, there is regret, there is joy, and there is a sense of relief. This picture of a loving father and filial son was clearly captured by Yi Fei. Arabata Lishuan had just stood up and was about to contact Guro Takamura when she heard the sound of the TV screen beating. Who is it? Araba Lishuan's already adjusted emotions lost control again. He didn't expect someone to be in his room. Doesn't that mean he saw it all happen? Yi Fei. Brother Yi. When Jack saw Yi Fei's actions, he immediately exploded, and David was also bombarded at the same time. Don't worry, I've already prepared. Yi Fei pointed to the tiny camera on his shoulder and said. Walking out of the TV inspection shaft, Araba Lizan finally saw who was coming. Who are you? Why are you in my room? As Araba Lishuan said, she ran towards her bed. Are you looking for this gun? Yi Fei's fingers were turning the King Kong and said. Seeing this scene, Araba Lishuan's expression changed instantly. You murderer, you actually. Before Araba Lishuan finished speaking, She saw Yifei pointing at the high-definition miniature camera on her shoulder. Do you want me to introduce you? The high-end micro camera produced by Kangtao. I remember the pixels are about the same as the human eye. Araba Lishuan, as the prince of the Araba Empire, oh no, he should be the quasi-emperor now. Presumably you don't want to get this video, either, or Machiko Arata, right? Yifei said with a smirk on his face. After hearing the two names Yifei said, Araban Lishuan immediately collapsed to the ground, holding her hair with both hands. Then he saw another scene that made him collapse even more. 3 more people walked out of the TV inspection well. In other words, 4 people witnessed the process of him killing Saburo Arata. What do you want to do? Araba Lishuan also forcibly calmed down at this time, and asked feebly as if her soul had been taken away. What do I want to do? Arasaka Yoshinobu, the orthodox heir of the Arasaka Empire. For many years, you have been working hard to find a way to destroy the world led by the company, but after repeated failures, you realize that with your own strength it cannot be defeated from the outside at all. So you came to Night City, and you want to use this place as your base to destroy the huge monster Arata group. The only ideal in your life is to save the world from the fear brought by his father. Am I right? Quote. Yifei's words made Huang Ban Lizan raise his head suddenly. His eyes were extremely horrified, but he never told anyone his true thoughts. Even if someone knew, then this person would not be Yifei. You, where did you hear that? Araban Lishuan said. Hehe, maybe you are troubled because you killed Saburo Arata, but I want to tell you a fact. Saburo Arata is not dead. Yifei's words exploded in Araba Lishuan's head like a nuclear bomb. What are you talking about? My father, I was strangled to death in front of you. You have already recorded it. Are you kidding me? Arata Lishuan was extremely angry. Although he hated Arama Saburo, he also respected Araba Saburo. He did not allow anyone to continue to make fun of him after his father died. Who said that the death of your father's body means that the person has died? You will not forget that you still have a miraculous child, right? Yifei's words were like a bright light that awakened Arban Lizan. You mean my father copied his own consciousness and uploaded it to Makoto before he came here? Araba Lishuan said in surprise. Before I tell you more information, I hope my companions can leave the Cyanbi mansion safely. Yifei crossed his arms and said. You guys, I'll give you 5 minutes to leave the Cyanbi building. Arban Lishuan pointed to Jack and the others and said. Yifei, V has a worried look on his face. Don't worry about me, V, I'll go find you, I just have something to talk to the prince of the Wangban Empire. Yifei said with a relaxed face, and then took another look at Araban Lishuan. Don't worry, I have already sent your video to our hackers. If something happens to my companions, then I don't need to live anymore. Yifei looked at Huang Ban Lizan with a very menacing expression in his eyes, looking like an ancient beast. Don't worry, I mean what I say. Hearing Yifei's words, Wangban Lishuan cursed inwardly. Originally he wanted to do something secretly. As a result, Yifei directly predicted all his operations, blocking all his paths. Jack, take David and V, I don't want to say it again, if you still think I'm your captain. Yifei said to Jack without looking back. Okay, we are waiting for you at the old place, you must come back. Jack gritted his teeth. Although he also wanted to stay and face everything that was about to happen with Yifei, but Yifei had already said so he could only choose to believe Yifei. A few minutes after Jack left, Yifei received a call from Jack. Yifei, we have left the Cyanbi building now, so hurry up. Okay, now that the idlers have left, it's time for us to chat. Araban Lishuan said. Arata Saburo has a plan, and that's the main reason why he came to you. Yifei talked for a few minutes to explain, and finally Araba Lishuan said dubiously, that is to say, the purpose of my father's coming to me is to let me kill him, and then use my sister Wazi to bring me down, in the end, using my body to be reborn. Although this plan sounds nonsense, Araba Lishuan is a person with relic chip research results, and knows that Yifei's words are completely achievable. Otherwise, why do you think your father would say something to irritate you over and over again? Yifei shrugged his shoulders. In his opinion, Araban Lishuan is too naive. As the founder of Araba Group, one of the top 3 companies in the world, Araban Master Lang, how could he dare to fight with Araba without doing anything? Lies on alone in a room. Even if this person is his son. This old man. Araban Lishuan gritted her teeth and said, after Yi Fei's words and analysis, Araban Lishuan began to realize why her father's words today were so aggressive. You have done so many things, shouldn't it be just to tell me these things? Araban Lishuan looked at Yi Fei suspiciously and said, of course, I'm here to cooperate with you. Cooperation, is it up to you? From Wangban Lishuan's point of view, although Yi Fei is very smart and knows a lot of inside information, he is just a guy who needs to look up to him, and has no capital to cooperate with him at all. How about this? As Yi Fei said that, he raised the pistol, King Kong, belonging to Araban Lishuan, and fired a shot at Araban Lishuan. Boom. Are you crazy? Araban Lishuan was greatly frightened, touched her body with her hands, and finally felt a hot current on her face. And with the gunshot, the alarm sounded in Araba Lishuan's room instantly. Shots have been detected in Master Lai Zan's room. Cyanbi building is now in emergency closed mode. Everyone please do not leave Cyanbi building. If I can survive the hands of your wild people, I will contact you, and now you can take the elevator and leave. Yi Fei's face is very calm, he will come with a big ticket this time. Then give a warning to those who covet his power. Araban Lishuan gritted his teeth, now he suddenly felt that Yi Fei had the capital to cooperate with him, and if he showed his self-confidence without saying anything else, Araban Lishuan was willing to give him a chance. Such a person is either a lunatic, or a lunatic with real skills. You better survive. After saying this, Araba Lishuan took the elevator and left the room on the top floor. Well, now, I'll go get that saber first. Thinking about it, Yi Fei walked up to Saburo Arata's body, and took out his dog tag, a floating car activation authorization card, from him. Walking to the rooftop, two very strong bodyguards have already been on alert. The moment they saw Yi Fei, they opened fire violently. You invited me to eat peanuts when we first met. You are too enthusiastic. Yi Fei appeared behind the two in an instant, and then threw them out of the rooftop one by one. What? The two of them were thrown from the 100-story building by Yi Fei. Araban Lishuan's room is 100, for this I went to find the video and watched it again. Turning on the floating car, Yi Fei also took out Saburo Arama's favorite knife, Ju. Hehe, the old man finally met again. Feeling that it looks extremely sharp, Yi Fei is also very impressed. When he played games in his previous life, he liked to play violent swordsman. This knife basically accompanied him from street soldiers to Adam's heavy hammer. Lord Lai Zan, what happened? After hearing the alarm on the rest floor, Takamura Guro rushed to the elevator, and then saw Araban Lishuan walking out of it with blood on his cheek. My father was killed. He almost killed me too. Arabata Lishuan's acting skills are really good, Takamura Guro didn't see any clues. What? Lord Saburo is dead. Takamura Guro immediately became frightened, well done, and then his eyes were full of anger. I want to avenge Lord Saburo. Guro Takamura was about to get on the elevator after speaking. Takamura Guro, do you remember who you were loyal to? Arabata Lishuan's voice came, and immediately pulled Takamura Guro back from the brink of losing control. I am loyal to the patriarch of the Arabata family. My father is dead, and now I am the patriarch of the Arabata family. I ask you to protect me now. You need the patriarch who is responsible for allegiance. Yes, Patriarch Lai Zan. Guro Takamura bowed to Lishuan Arabata. Heavy hammer. Go meet the assassin who killed my father. Araba Lishuan was still displaying his acting skills, commanding Adam with red eyes. This is also the test of Wangban Lishuan for Yi Fei. If he can't even pass Adam's heavy hammer, then Yi Fei doesn't have the capital to discuss cooperation with him. Wangban Lishuan. At this time, Yi Fei had already reached the 70th floor, and with the knife of Arama Saburo in his hand, he had chopped off countless armed men of Arama. Stop. Stop him. No, it's impossible. Impossible. Ah, Okasong, mother. Kill Keed, help. Every time Yi Fei ran, he would kill several unarmed armed men. Under this kind of horrific killing, even those armed men who had experienced many battles couldn't help but feel frightened. In no time, Yi Fei killed all the more than 20 armed personnel on the 70th floor. He is now the same as the game he played with the children. If it is a man, it will go down 100 floors. He had used Saburo Arata's. Ah no, now his knife had cut at least 100 people, but the knife didn't even show a single cut. You must know that the armor of these armed personnel is also very heavy, as are some drones. Tisk tisk tisk, it is indeed a sword that can last a century in the hands of Saburo Arama. It seems that Saburo Arama has put a lot of thought into you. As Yifei said, he took a piece of cloth that he didn't know who took it out, and wiped the blade of Ju's knife until it shined. Then they took the next elevator and killed them layer by layer. The armed personnel who came here later were basically temporarily transferred from Huangbanta. At least there were more than 1,000 people. In addition to the armed personnel of the Cyanbai building, the number has reached more than 2,000 people. Yifei, on the other hand, forcibly started from Araba Lishuan's room from the 99th floor to the current 10th floor. Even the NCPD was alarmed and sent 5 terrorist mobile teams to suppress it, a total of 25 elite personnel. Because each floor on duty is now independent and has no connection, so the people below have no idea that all the people above Yifei Bar have been killed, so they dare to resist vigorously. As for Araban Lishuan, looking at the surveillance probe that had returned to normal, she had already vomited. The huge picture shows that as long as the floors Yifei passes by are their unscrupulous armed personnel, Yifei will kill them one by one. Even the drone Yifei pinned them to the wall with one punch and damaged it directly. And even Takamura Guro, who has been on the battlefield for a long time, couldn't help but start to have a bad reaction when he saw the bloody scene in the surveillance. He swore that even the cruelest battlefield and the scariest massacre scene would not be as terrifying as the current Cyanbai mansion. As long as Yifei passed through the floors, none of their armed personnel was spared, and the stumped limbs and arms all over the floor foreshadowed what kind of hell scene they had experienced. The armed personnel of Wangban are all carefully selected fighters brought here by their own country, and even this kind of experienced fighters cannot resist Yifei. But Takamura Guro didn't know that today, more than 130 years ago, a city in Wagwo experienced a massacre even more terrifying than Yifei's crazy killing. The people there are experiencing such a hell scene every day. Why doesn't Yifei leave a population? Maybe it was because of a little indignation in his heart, maybe it was for revenge for those hundreds of thousands of people who died in vain. In short, Yifei just can't think rationally now, and now he just keeps waving the knife in his hand. Lord Lizon, I need to take you to evacuate Zubi building immediately. That guy has already reached the 9th floor. Lizon's lounge and monitoring room are both on the 1st floor of the Konbi building, and now Yifei has reached the 9th floor. Although Takamura Guro wants to fight him desperately, his current mission is to protect the blood of Saburo Arama. Arabata Lishuan evacuates the Cyanbi building. Okay, let's go. Wangban Lishuan can't care about the bet with Yifei now, he even thinks that Yifei is a lunatic suffering from cyberpsychosis. But this lunatic is too strong. In this way, when Yifei reached the 1st floor of the Cyanbai building, the suit on his body was soaked even with Yifei's super speed. Of course, Yifei didn't shed a drop of sweat or blood here. He didn't kill the people in the violent mobile team, but just knocked them all unconscious. Although these people were recruited by cyberspirits BCEF mentally ill, they were still barely guarding the poor in Night City. There is no need for Yifei to kill them. Phew, are you finally here? Yifei saw that there was no one around, and knew that besides the guests and normal staff in the hotel, he was the only living person in the Cyanbai building. Almost, that's it. As Yifei said, he put the sense in his hand into the scabbard, and walked out of the Cyanbai building slowly. And when Yifei walked down the steps at the door, a huge figure covered in mechanical prosthetics rushed out of the Cyanbai building. Adam Hammer. Yifei's eyes lit up immediately. Originally he thought that Adam Heavy Hammer should have followed Huangban Lizon out of the Cyanbai building, but it turned out that he was still waiting for him here. It's quite capable, little bug. I want to see what kind of strange prosthetic body you have on your body, and you can walk out of the Cyanbai building alive. Every step of Adam's heavy hammer was very heavy, and every floor tile under his feet was broken into pieces by him. Bugs. Adam Heavy Hammer. Has your brain been turned into a pure robot by prosthesis? The last time you did it was more than 60 years ago. No way. Yifei looked at Adam Heavy Hammer with a sneer on his face and said, while speaking, he put his eyes on a part of Adam Heavy Hammer that no longer existed. Bug, you will pay the worst price for what you say. Seeing Yi Fei express the pain in his heart, Adam Zonghammer immediately became angry. If his body hadn't been blown up by a few rockets during a certain mission, his dream and more than half of his body had been blown into powder, how could he have become the ghost he is now? You must know that Adam Heavyhammer's favorite thing to do before a mission is to find a woman to vent his lust. And after that mission, Adam Heavyhammer lost his body, and sold his soul to Arbin Group to replace it with an extremely powerful mechanical body. Adam Heavyhammer has also received countless mechanical transformations and prosthetic body enhancements from the Arbin Group in the past few decades. In the end, it turned into the current appearance of neither human nor ghost, and no relatives or friends survived in this world. This made his heart distorted and perverted, as long as a person who has not received the transformation is either a piece of rotten meat or a bug in his eyes. Before Yi Fei appeared, the last bug that Adam Heavyhammer saw was Morgan Blackhand, a person who only accepted one-handed prosthetic body modification. Maybe there is a Johnny Silverhand. It's just that that guy is much weaker than Morgan Blackhand. Now Yi Fei is the second bug that appeared in his eyes. Now, the words of this bug directly aroused the anger of Adam Heavyhammer. Bug, I admit that you have completely irritated me. And do you know what will happen if you irritate me? The sound of Adam's heavy hammer is very sharp, perhaps because all the parts below his head have been replaced with machines, so although his voice has tried to imitate his original voice. However, due to the characteristics of the machine, it still doesn't sound like a sound that a person can make. On that ugly face, there was a violent and crazy smile. Why did Adam Heavyhammer not suffer from cyberpsychosis? Perhaps it was because his perverted thoughts were all focused on installing prosthetic bodies and the sense of superiority brought to him by Araba Group. But now that the fig leaf was removed by Yi Fei, Adam's sanity was on the verge of collapse. On the other hand, Yi Fei has no other expression on his face except excitement. To be honest, he can still show this expression after facing Adam Hammer. There is no one else in Night City except Yi Fei. What this shit is doing in games and anime is simply outrageous. In the game, Johnny Silverhand was killed in 2022, Saul who was willing to accept and pay for V's life, Rob was killed, and the lively and lovely Rebecca was killed in the anime, and there is a lot of love righteous David. These are all enough for Yi Fei to kill 10,000 times. He didn't choose to draw the sword. Although the material of Saburo Arata's sword is very strong, it is possible to make an inch with it. This isn't a game after all. A large part of the reason he stayed was because he wanted to kill the beast. Adam Heavyhammer walked up to Yi Fei step by step, and the two just stared at each other. Adam Heavyhammer's prosthetic eyes were full of strange red light, and there was no hair on his head. Although it looked scary, it looked so funny in Yi Fei's eyes. PFF'd. Yi Fei didn't collapse all of a sudden. After all, seeing Adam's Heavyhammer's face up close was a bit too funny. You're laughing at Nima. After Adam Heavyhammer saw Yi Fei's expression, the mechanical hand swung towards Yi Fei fiercely. Boom. Yi Fei raised a hand to block the blow of Adam's Heavyhammer. It can only be said that it is one of the ceilings of Cyberpunk carries combat power. This punch actually made Yi Fei feel a little bit. It seems that you still have two skills. Seeing Yi Fei receive the punch, Adam Heavyhammer showed a hint of appreciation on his face, and he felt that he could enjoy the fun of fighting this time. Average, that is, the level of invincibility in this world. Yi Fei winked and said, his expression looked very awkward. But do you think it's over? Adam Hammer activates his 5th order C-Invest in Rage. This prosthetic body can not only speed up people's speed, but also strengthen the user's limb strength to a certain extent. I don't know how many times stronger than David's Sean Weinstein who can only accelerate. After quickly making a detour behind Yi Fei, he should yank out a whip leg with a heavy hammer. Snapped. The terrifying force even caused a sonic boom. Boom. There was another loud bang, and Yi Fei exaggerated this time, taking Adam's Heavyhammer's kick directly with 2 fingers. Did you not put some oil on your prosthetic body? The strength is so weak. Yi Fei said to Adam's Heavyhammer. Impossible. Now Adam Heavyhammer is no longer calm. If Yi Fei used one leg or even one hand to force it, he will not be surprised. As a result, Yi Fei now took his kick with only 2 fingers. Are you crazy? Even a chariot will be kicked over by him this time, right? Are you finished? Then it's my turn. After Yifei finished speaking, he imitated Adam's heavy hammer and pulled out a whip kick, but he didn't want to kick this guy to death with one kick, because every accessory on his body was worth a lot of money. Boom! Adam Heavy Hammer's abdomen suffered from Yifei's violent blow, and his whole body was thrown backwards. All of a sudden, Adam Heavy Hammer's body was kicked into a car, the kind of violent entry. Ahem. Is this the feeling of pain? I haven't felt this way for a long time. Adam Heavy Hammer felt severe pain in his abdomen. Even though he was a robot, the mechanical prosthesis on his body had long been connected to his brain nerves, so he still felt pain. Hey, how long are you going to lie down? Get up quickly. Yifei arrived in front of Adam in an instant when he sighed with Heavy Hammer. Seeing Yifei's harmless face, Adam woke up with a heavy hammer, and jumped 3 meters away with his legs. Brat, I am not only good at punching and kicking. Let you taste the power of my prosthetic body. As Adam Heavy Hammer spoke, he pulled out a rifle from a certain part of his body, and stretched out a hand cannon from his arm. Even the miniature final missiles on the shoulders stretched out together, firing violently at Yifei. Da da da, bang bang bang. All of a sudden, the scene became full of gunpowder, and the place where Yifei was standing was also covered by firepower. When Adam's sledgehammer consumed all the weapons and ammunition in his hand, the ground where Yifei was standing was already destroyed and small pits appeared. And when Yifei fought Adam Heavy Hammer again, a media helicopter was filming all of this high in the sky. Yifei's eyes froze, he glanced at the sky, and did nothing but put a mosaic on his own face. People of Night City, we have received news that a terrorist has attacked a hotel owned by the Arata Corporation, which is our most luxurious hotel in Night City, Konbi Yin. Now the signature mercenary Adam Heavy Hammer, which belongs to Arbin Corporation, is fighting this terrorist. The following is what we captured. Ritz Bar. Judy was originally working on a Mewtwo, but when the news came out from her computer, Judy stopped working immediately. She knew that today was the day Yifei and the others went to Cyanbai Mansion to steal that chip. Now the news is actually broadcasting this news, so I immediately stopped working and concentrated on watching. Yifei. Why is he the only one? Where's Jack? Where's V? Judy saw the scene where Yifei and Adam looked at each other with a heavy hammer, and then remembered the news just broadcast that only one terrorist attacked the Cyanbai building. Although Yifei's face was mosaicked for some reason, but Judy could tell his figure at a glance. Could it be that Yifei went on this mission alone? Judy couldn't imagine it at all, but the man in the news picture now made her think that things were like this. Victor's clinic. Victor is also in the same situation as Judy. Why? Where did Jack and the others go? Could it be that Yifei evacuated to cover them and stayed there to attract the attention of those people in Arabin? Victor's brows were tightly furrowed. He didn't accept anyone's prosthetic surgery today, just to be able to see Yifei's news as soon as possible. As a result, I saw the confrontation between Yifei and Adam Heavy Hammer in the news. Yifei, are you really willing to risk your life just to become a legend? Victor knew that Yifei might have some special body, but compared with Adam Hammer, the legendary maker of Night City, it was simply too far behind. He simply couldn't imagine how much chance Yifei had in winning.